everyone, to episode 247 of that podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng. I'm joined with Twastell, Kaz doing her best PvP Steve impression.
Yeah.
And no Steve.
But Mittens, as always.
Mittens, yes. Honestly,
Steve and my arrangement continues.
Kaz is actually not the second most consistent member of the team. She's actually tied with Mittens. Because he's made an appearance every single time. I don't know where Steve's at, honestly. He wasn't going to. He was supposed to. He's not going to South Africa.
Yeah. So I think
he's going
to Seville. I think he's going to Seville.
You think so? I don't think so.
Because here's the thing. He said like, "Oh, I don't lie. I like misdirection." So the perfect misdirection is to say, "Oh, I'm not going to South Africa," and then you show up in Spain for the special event. Special championship.
For what it's worth, it is a possibility. Two reasons why I think it's unlikely is one, he also is a big farmer of what's it called? Mickey Mouse tournaments. In his own words, not mine. What he says, right?
Yeah.
Seville, I don't think it's gonna be a Mickey Mouse tournament. I think there's gonna be 100+ people at least.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, point number two is, if he's gonna do all that, why not just go to a standard regional that gives out prize money in case you can potentially win it, rather than go to one that you can't even win prize money?
Because my thought process is he already got the time off of work approved to go to South Africa, and so he just made a pivot. That's my guess. We'll have to see next week, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess
when he's
no.
here and you're not.
I honestly think unlikely, but I honestly think there's a higher chance he ends up still in South Africa than Seville. That's my thought.
Same.
Well, so obviously there's a lot of travel issues, right now.
Yeah.
We could talk more about that later too, or maybe we can talk about it now. I don't know. But that's mostly around the US though. If he doesn't have to go through the US, how many travel? I don't know if there's travel issues in other countries.
Well, no. So I think that the best route, my understanding, to get from Australia to South Africa, I think requires flying through the Middle East, and so I think that's why there's problems.
Okay, that actually does check out.
Because I feel like if I remember correctly, I think when he went to South Africa the 2 times last year, I don't remember where, but I think he connected somewhere in the Middle East. Yeah, and so I think that's why he's like, can't make it this time.
Yeah, for those that don't know, there's a couple wars going on in that area, so yeah, without getting too
it's hard not to know. I wish I didn't know. I wish I didn't have to know. I wish I didn't I wish for so many things.
Yeah. But anyway, that being said, I think there's a good chance he's just not actually going anywhere, and he's just, I don't really know what he's up to. But we'll see. If he's at Seville, I color me surprised. You know, Steve has surprised me in the past, but that would be a real surprise. But speaking of travel stuff too, I'll talk about this briefly before we get into it. The travel right now, I mean, obviously through other areas is not great, but the travel in the United States is not good.
Oh my God.
So a lot of reasons for it.
How long did it take you to get home?
Okay, I got really lucky. So there's 2 airports in Houston. There's the Hobby Airport, which is like a small domestic one with just one terminal. And then there's the George Bush terminal airport that's international. And that it doesn't just do international flights, so it does a lot of domestic flights. It's just like a catch-all, right? Like a massive airport.
Well, yeah, like any international airport has domestic flights, right? Like
No. Well, like Atlanta, for example, doesn't. Like they have a separate international airport. It is very close to the domestic one, but separate. Which is what, and that's where I spent most of my adult life. So that's what I assume the international ones is.
Houston. Really? Because like LAX is an international airport, right?
You're right. Yeah, yeah. The one I generally fly out of is
like Seattle is an international airport. Like the main airports in New York are international airports, stuff like that.
Well,
so,
I mean, what Caleb's describing is like Atlanta's an international airport, right? But the way they have it set up is the international flights are generally in their own terminal.
And,
It is
yeah, it's not even
a
like you can
separate
even walk to
building.
that terminal. Like it's like
Yeah,
it's not
you like
walkable.
have to
Yeah.
take the plane train. Like if you're in the airport and you go to like the domestic terminal, you
Can you
have
take
to
the
take
plane
like
train from domestic to international? I didn't
yeah.
realize. I thought you had to take a shuttle.
They're
Oh,
connected.
okay.
Maybe they weren't always, but they've
Okay,
been
okay.
doing like it's so much construction. You can go between them now.
I think the thing
Um,
that threw me off is that LAX, Seattle, like these examples, there's just one airport in that city, right? Like there's another airport in Burbank, California, but it's not LA, California, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, there's a Houston domestic airport and a Houston international one. I'm gonna fly to the domestic one. I'd even look at the flights to international, which for what it's worth, it probably would have been cheaper because there's more flights going in and out of it. I just didn't think to look at it. So when I booked my flight, and one of my friends also booked her flight too, we both booked in the Houston domestic one. But everyone else, like most people, are gonna buy like the cheaper flights and stuff, and they all went to like the international one, even if they're doing domestic flights. And
mhm.
so, like, I'll give you an example, like Asher Nash and some other people, like they went to the airport and they were in line in TSA for 5 hours, over 5 hours. This is longer than the flight he was about to take. And of course, they missed their flight, so they had to rebook, right? My friend Andy, who I stayed in the same hotel with in local mine, he went to the airport at the same time I did early in the morning, and his flight was like in the afternoon, but we just wanted to be safe. And luckily for him, he was in line for only 2.5 hours. They didn't have pre-check, didn't have clear, didn't have any like the expedite stuff. It was just all one line. And like, forget like water and food. Like, what if you have to go to the bathroom
Mhm.
during like the 5 hours? Very possible, right? I saw pictures of people out like outside the airport, and this wasn't just Houston. It was like New Orleans, like New York, like everywhere, every
Yeah.
major airport, especially
No, I
over that
mean,
weekend.
the biggest airports are obviously having the biggest problems. Like I've heard a lot of stories coming out of the Atlanta airport that are
Hmm.
horrible. And yeah, if you're like traveling by yourself, there's no one to like watch your stuff.
Yeah.
There's no one to like,
Well, also, I don't know
help
if they'll
you
just let you
out.
get back in line. They'll be like, "Oh, you're cutting,"
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know. I would
yeah.
hope so,
You would hope
because
so.
like you said, yeah, bathroom, water, um, even just like the fact that you're standing there forever.
I was ready because I had the entire second season of One Piece live action download on my phone just in case. But
Oh yeah, I've already binged that.
yeah, well, I didn't because I didn't have to wait in line. But anyway, I guess they were lucky. So the terminal I went to, they even had pre TSA pre check available. But even without that, it probably would take a few minutes. It took me literally 2 minutes to get through. But again, I want to be on the safer side. Um, so we went early. But it's been rough, and so just caution if you are traveling to or from the U.S. Honestly, to the U.S. is fine. It's out of the U.S. or at going to the U.S. airport that's particularly hard because once you land, it's fine, right? Getting out is no problem. It's like
Yeah.
going through the security lines
Yeah, I mean
and
the big
everything.
thing right now is probably just going to be anyone who's traveling through the U.S., right? Like if you're going to Orlando next
I know
week.
Orlando's coming up in a week from now,
Thank
so
goodness I'm driving. Even though it's like a 7-hour drive, I don't care. That's better than being in an airport right now.
yeah. Honestly, I
Hey,
mean, if
seven
you go
hour
to
drive, or it could be 5 hours in the TSA line.
yeah, and then plus
True.
another 3-4 hours on the
I
plane,
would
and
rather
it's
be able to stop wherever I want, even though I'm not actually the one driving this time.
who are you carpooling with?
My local friends Justin and Zach,
Mhm.
Jay Tally and Jigglybuff are their names in the game. Sushi will also be in the car. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice, nice. That should be
Yeah.
should be a fun time. Um, well, I hope you have your Aegis class ready. I
I mean,
appreciate that.
I do.
Well, I don't know if it's fully powered up, but yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah,
it's not. It's like I think it's like level 35 or something. So I still need
yeah.
some candies, obviously. But, it served its purpose.
Sure, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, served the purpose I needed for sure. Okay. Well, regards to travel stuff, if you're curious why that's happening, you could like Google it and look into it. There's a lot of reasons around that, but at least for your own personal sake, just keep that in mind if you are traveling. No, no lie. People were leaving their hotels at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
the night before for a 8 a.m. flight. and still missing their flights or barely catching it. Like it's
Well,
crazy.
well, part of that too, I heard was that like TSA wasn't opening until like almost 4 a.m. Like it was like 3:30 or 4 a.m. is when
That's
it was like
usually how a lot of
reopened.
airports are. Like the LAX one, the TSA line doesn't open at 5 until 5 a.m. So, but that being said, if the lines are that long, the lines themselves can start lining up, beforehand. It's almost like a freaking concert door or something, but
or
worse.
or
Yeah.
or like a pre-release, well, not pre-release, like when TCG cards go on sale now.
Yeah. Apparently, people did that for the LA Go Tour as well. I didn't realize that. But a local
That's
mine was saying that her
crazy.
and her friends, like
Oh
their
yeah.
locals, like lined up at the Go Tour at like 4 a.m. or something,
What?
and they did like
That's
a
insane.
breakfast cookout in the parking lot. Which, of course, they didn't even have to pay for parking because the parking staff wasn't even there. It's the funniest part. But then
Wow.
apparently they let them in. I think at like 7 a.m. or something. So that even though the event starts at 9, like staff gets there early, and so they just let them in the park, and they're playing like trivia or like like winning all the pins or whatever. I don't know if like that's like standard procedure, but I guess the doors actually open earlier than 9 if you get there that early. But um,
Jeez.
yeah, me not so much. I mean, I even left the event early, so. But okay, we're rambling. Let's talk into some events before we get to more stuff. We got Gigantamax Pikachu Raid Day, which this is not
Thank
the first time,
goodness.
right? Oh, it is the first time.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. I don't
A
know. I feel
chunk. The
yeah.
chunk comes to life.
The Chongus. Where's my Chongus at? Oh, she's not around. She's scared. She's scared to be ashamed.
Well, I just love that, like, overall, it looks like kind of the original fat Pikachu design. So good. Perfection.
It reminds me of
Love
that
this.
card. Yeah, that TCG card. But
Mm-hmm.
okay.
The OG.
Yes. This comes out on Saturday 28th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So this upcoming weekend, in a couple days. Gigantamax debut, and they will not be able to evolve, but they could be shiny. Event bonuses, max particles, the standard stuff. Honestly, nothing too crazy there.
The only
Um,
interesting bonuses I want to call out is up to 3 special trades for the day,
mhm.
and
That's
then
nice.
standard, but they're increasing the daily remote raid limit from 10 to 20.
All right, and then they have like max mushroom stuff, dude. I did not realize standard max mushrooms are only 5 minutes. I feel like that's such a ripoff.
What? No. I thought they were like,
I
that
dropped
was
one this
like
past weekend at the
15.
airport, and I only got 5 minutes out of it. Me and friend were trying to like duel Reg Ice, which took
I
forever,
mean,
but
this goes to show how often I
it was
use
my first time using max mushrooms. So I had
items.
no idea.
Yeah, I don't
But
think I've ever used the max mushroom
yeah, but for this one, I guess
because
it.
I rarely ever do Dynamax stuff, and when I do, it's usually like in a big group where it's not in a group.
Yeah, yeah. But they essentially say for this event, temporarily doubles all your damage, and then you can use multiple max mushrooms consecutively to increase the effect's duration. But doing so will not increase the damage multiplier. So I guess the second one won't be just 5 minutes; it might be 6 minutes. Who knows? But they don't specify what it is. It might be more than that. I wish they kind of specified it, but yeah, I don't know. These max mushrooms, like for a paid in-game item, I feel like you should be able to get more out of it. Like 5 minutes
Well,
is just one Dynamax Gigantamax raid
yeah.
or
Sometimes they
battle.
do I've never bought one.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones I have
Got
in
'em for
my
free.
bag are from like research or something
Same, yeah.
or Go Pass maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean there's certainly ways to get them, but they mostly want you to pay for them.
Well, the
Yeah.
crazy thing to me too is like if it's 5 minutes, like if you use a mushroom and you fail, then you have to use another mushroom to try again, right? Like the
Yeah.
5 minutes isn't gonna last through 2 attempts.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's the issue. Yeah.
Typically with the Gigantamax raid days, I feel like that's lower risk because it's like a one-off. So many people are like trying to get it, do it in the
Right.
time.
I mean, it depends how
Um,
big your group is, right? If you only have a group of like
well,
6 or 8 people,
I was gonna say, especially now that we can do these remotely, so you can you can get assistance from a larger group even if you can't go out, yourself. So that could, usually I feel like it's lower risk. I definitely is higher risk for the legendary like Dynamax stuff, because you can still only have 4 trainers in that, and like if not everyone is prepared, then You are SOL.
Yeah. It's a Dynamax one that's a little bit trickier, right? Because you're limited on people. Like, I think the tough part is like Gigantamax usually have enough fuel, so you don't even need the mushroom. The ones you really need is the particularly hard ones, right? So
Yeah.
the ones you're more likely to fail and need to do multiple attempts. Like, I really do appreciate that they make it so that if you fail like a Dynamax Gigantamax, you get your max particles back. You just like take it. But this
You're
mushrooms,
not getting
like,
your mushrooms back.
definitely
Yeah.
not getting no mushrooms, and you can't grow your own mushrooms either. So you gotta pay them or collect them. But anyway, that's that for that one. And
Like,
then
Caleb, did you use the adventure effects when you were trying to do it?
no, I probably should have, but like we're running low on time, so I didn't even know like what was the adventure effect I need to do. It was
I think the Zacian one is probably the one you would want,
yeah,
if I remember correctly.
What is?
I
What
think
is
I think
that?
Zacian is the one. I forgot exactly what it does.
There's
But I think
also I think Zacian like boosts like your damage in like raids
Yes.
and max battles, something like
yeah,
that.
that does sound right. I think that
Yeah.
the tricky part is it was a Regice, and I was using Zacian, Zamazenta, Eternatus. I swapped out Eternatus for Blissey sometimes for the healing aspect, which was like kind of okay, but not really. Okay, tell me this, right? For people that are experienced in this, right? Because I'm not. How come the dodge system in Dynamax and Gigantamax still doesn't work? Is that just me? Like, I tried dodging
No.
every time. You can't dodge. What's even the point of having the option?
And sometimes it'll tell me that I dodged, and I'm like, I don't know how, but okay.
And it actually did dodge.
I don't know. Like, I don't
Oh.
really know how you
I
tell, but it'll
I
say it
Well,
in
the
the
damage
text.
is pretty obvious from Red
I don't
Dice.
know. I haven't done one in a while. I've been able to dodge in the past, so I don't know if it's like a newer
I have, yeah.
glitch.
I
Like
have in
maybe
the
it's a newer
past, but
glitch. I don't know.
now this past weekend, no. Like, I have done it like right on release. Dodging was actually pretty reliable, but I just cannot dodge. Like, I tried to time it so well, could not do it every single time the move lands. And
Yeah.
it's a Regice, so like it's got Earthquake that like almost one shots my Zacian and Zamazenta every time, or it's got Thunder that like one shots like my Charizard or whatever, right? And so I'm like trying to figure out like which one to, but like it just switches up the move. It's not just like one at the same time.
Yeah, no, every time you re-enter, it's potentially different.
Not even that. It's different like within the
I,
same
I think it can
Dynamax
use.
battle.
I think
Like,
it can use like two
It
moves
can
during
use
the
2
same
moves.
battle. Yeah.
yeah, well,
And
it
they
was using both for
refresh.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
thing
yeah, if
knew,
you get a
And
terrible
then-
combo, then
dude, that
Yeah.
Regice knew
Again.
its typings for sure because it was throwing the right move every time.
Oh,
it
and
was
Caleb,
rough.
I will say the other one. I haven't used these adventure effects myself, but I think the other one that you could use is the Eternatus. I believe that one like boosts like the level of all your max moves or something like that.
I mean, that is possible, but yeah, the turn to also getting one shot from the Earthquake is a problem.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
think you have. It's an adventure effect. I don't think you have to have it in your party.
Oh, Eternus has an adventure effect? I didn't realize.
I thought Dynamax Cannon was.
I think you're right. I just don't remember. But I for what it's worth,
Yeah.
I just didn't use any of them. So,
Anyways,
again, it just goes to show how often I do Dynamax battle.
I thought you do it more than me. But okay, yeah. So it adding a
there are
bonus to
birds
max moves
involved.
of your max Pokemon in Eternatus. Max moves at max level receive significant bonuses. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
so-
should have probably just upgraded my Eternatus too, because it's like a hundo anyway. Why would I not, right? Dude, we need these back end raids. I'm still like, shit, I'm still like a couple thousand XLs off from maxing this out, and I just
yeah.
can't.
So
Oh,
I was talking to someone about this. My first question is like, when do we think Eternatus is even gonna ever come back? Because like they said it would come back, right? But like we haven't had it back yet. And like obviously they probably want to like strut the line of like they don't want it to come back too frequently where it like loses the novelty, but like you don't want it to like be too infrequent either.
The novelty also just doesn't make. I mean, like, what's the novelty at this point, right? Like, we don't do anything with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
but
it's barely even relevant in Master League.
The other thing that I was saying to this person when I was talking to them was I feel like when they do bring it back, they're gonna need to like make it like they're gonna need to make the drop rate of like candies and XL candies like way more like plentiful because
Tristan, you know they're not going to do that.
no, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing. The people that are gonna whale already whaled. So they need to make it worthwhile for the people in like those next tiers who like aren't gonna justify dropping ridiculous amounts of money to max it out because like if you don't have it maxed out already, it's like why would I bother doing this insane thing? It's too time and money intensive.
This sounds like some self advocacy from Tristan's part. He's like, I'm that next tier, not the whale tier. You need to incentivize this for me to do it, which, to be fair, I am as well. So I think logically that makes a lot of sense, but we'll see if Niantic goes the logical route or not, and when it comes back.
No. I would suspect that we'll probably have to wait until, Galar Tour for it to come back.
I hope not, but
2 years, baby.
That's a long time. That's a long freaking time, but yeah. By then, Doombug and Harjeff will have won their 20th championship series tournament.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. Let's cover this in other events. Oh shoot! I completely just deleted everything. Okay. So we have a shockingly good time, and it's March 31st to April 6th. Increased chance of encountering shiny Pikachu, shiny Chinchou, shiny Dene. Okay, well that does check out. You could also encounter, those Pokemon plus Palmy in the wild and more. Yeah,
and more
electric stuff. Times well with the Electric Cup. I don't know why electric. Is there anything related to that? I don't know. Okay, we have Spotlight Hours returning.
Every single day of the event.
Yeah, but there's no bonuses, which is like weird. But anyway, Mareep, 31st. Pikachu, Magnemite, Chinchou, Palmy, Dedenne, Joltik in that order of those days. Obviously, Joltik ending on the 6th of April. Yeah, I don't know. They have like a major milestone go past, nothing too crazy, and that's about it.
Yeah, no other bonuses or anything.
Yeah, this is it's one of them events, and that's okay.
There's a go past as usual, sort of.
Dude, I can't believe they sacrificed an April Fool's Day event for this.
I know. if they still don't do
this
like something for what? Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, though. I don't think they usually announce an April Fool's Day event. I think it's usually like an
it's
surprise.
Usually kind of a surprise. Like
didn't they announce the Peachy Pandemonium though? I remember like graphics and everything all around that because I remember we promoted it on like a broadcast.
I think that was like one of the few times. I feel like a lot of the times it's just been like a surprise. Like,
dude,
like there was the one
30-second timer again. I wouldn't hate it for a day.
There was also, I think one of the fun ones was the pixelated one.
Yes.
Yeah, the like Google Maps.
I found my only unknown in the wild, like on my own, for like no event thing through that. Because I still have screenshots of it actually, and I saw a kid like twist their ankle like running for it out of his dorm. Because like posted it, in my Discord that I used to work on college campus. I posted it, and like all the people, all the college students, all the grad students, all the people in the area were driving down to it to catch it. That was great.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a letter K. I asked people to name their first child after me, and they're like, "No, but we can name this unknown after you." And I was like, "Failed with the K. All right, that's good enough, I guess." But yeah. Anyway.
Oh, there are a few bonuses. They're like milestone bonuses. It says.
Yeah, you all can read through that yourself. It's nothing. It's honestly nothing too dramatic. Yeah. Otherwise, we would have covered it.
Yeah, it's just. There is a double catch startups.
Yeah,
probably the only interesting one.
Okay, GBO. Leaderboards are out. It is open. All the open leagues right now, but the leaderboards are out, and
not everyone's showing up on them.
Not everyone's on them.
Nope.
Don't know why. Which kind of makes the GBL leaderboards themselves a little scuffed. Like I feel like people are like number 1 and 2 maybe are probably accurate, but like there's some people on the leaderboard that probably shouldn't even be on that leaderboard. And at a minimum, a lot of people should be way lower than they are.
I don't think at least yesterday, I don't think number 1 was accurate because I saw a tweet. I think it was SS Storm.
Oh really?
yeah, he posted like what his ELO was, and it would have been, yeah, SS Thorn. So number one on the leaderboard yesterday was 2851, and he
Hmm.
posted a screenshot that he claimed like a few hours prior that he was 2865. So like he
Yeah.
should have been again,
Well,
and
someone's on
maybe
2,900 right now today.
right, right. That's a
Yeah.
day later though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But the point is like, and like he should have been number one unless there was someone else in the same boat as him that would
Dude.
have been even higher than him.
I would hate that even if I'm number one on the leaderboard, knowing that someone else should be higher, but they just didn't get credit for it. Like, because you're not truly number one at that point, right? Like, it just doesn't even
Yeah.
feel like it doesn't even feel right. It's like I didn't really earn number one. It just,
Right.
like it's just what it says on the website, which
But
it's
this is like,
no player's fault, obviously, right? But it's
yeah,
just like kind of a bad feeling. Like, well, yeah, I guess I got number one, but really, like, I'm not really
yeah.
number one. I
Well,
want
and
to
the
make a
weird,
Dragon Ball Z reference, but I don't think either of you get it. So.
no. And the weird thing too is like some people apparently have been like on it some days and then not on it other days, which just like makes no sense.
Mm.
Because like I'd understand if one person was like, I haven't been on the leaderboard like the entire time, even though I could have been.
Yeah.
Like again, that's not like a good problem, but it would make more sense. For the fact that people have been like on and off when their ELO should be on the whole time, like makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
And it makes me a little worried of like what's going on. Like, is the championship point for GBO placements gonna like work properly?
Well, that's at the end of the season, so I feel like that's probably okay. I wouldn't worry too much about that, right? I mean, that's like we're way too early to worry about that, right? Like it's we're so far away from that, but that is just something to note. So, but some people are closing out on Legend already, which is kind of insane. But
Crazy.
Oof,
yeah, I
yeah.
haven't really been playing the past few days though, because
No, I feel like I
I'll
haven't
back
played
too soon. But
honestly in like a week.
I only got my ELO like a couple days ago.
oh,
Not
well,
very
it
good.
seems like it's a great time for a Legend bet, if I do say so myself. Okay, here's the issue though. We have had Steve and Tristan on the same freaking podcast for
I
like the
know.
entire calendar year. So
Can't
it's
make
hard to even
bets
coordinate.
if we're not all
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Can't get on the same consensus.
We can't even finish Kaz's corner.
Dude, for real. Honestly, you know what? I think I should just be the default Kaz Corner winner for the attendance I have,
You just want those
That's got it.
bonuses for yourself.
That's gotta count for something. No, actually, I don't even care about the bonuses. I just want us to get through it. But okay, maybe we'll find some time in June. But we'll see if it makes out that far. Okay. Anyway, that's pretty much GBLs in a nutshell. We do have all open leagues, and I'm curious to see how
Is
that
it
will go.
it's all open leagues just for 1 week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week is Electric Cup, and then probably Great League. I actually don't remember. Great League would make sense, but I could.
Yeah, I don't remember the order. I do know that we end this season with back-to-back weeks of all three open leagues, though. I remember that much.
Yeah, it's kind of solid.
I actually played a little Master League.
Oh, what you run? I didn't know you. I
Um,
didn't know you had it like that.
I uh I've been running a Kyurem White, Kyogre, and Metagross.
Kieran White. Wait, Metagross and what? What was the third one?
Kyogre.
Oh, Kyogre.
However.
What do you say swap? Like the
Kyogre.
you say swap the Kyogre. What's in the lead?
The Kyurem.
Oh, what do you do for like a Dialga lead? I mean, I guess it's not super common, but I guess you have a lot of play into it too, so it's probably not that bad.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
didn't see many Dialgas, but
Isn't like,
Kyogre's,
but if you
pretty
draw
good
out the
now, though.
Palkia, doesn't it like not do that much for your Metagross?
I mean Metagross is like not bad in the Palkia anyways, but
Yeah.
like I usually bait out
Well, that's
some
what
sort of
that's what I'm saying. Like, because you probably draw out the Palkia, right? But Palkia's not like you're not drawing out a weakness for the Metagross, right?
yeah, but like usually I can set up some sort of an advantage because the thing is like if I think Kyogre up like either one or two waterfalls wins the zeros against Palkia.
Yeah.
So
Kyogre's
I
pretty
can
busted
usually
right now.
I can usually get like a shield advantage
Uh-huh.
and then potentially like farm down the dragon with my Kyurem and then like go from there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been like hit or miss. Obviously I'm in like a lower ELO and was like unranked for a bit. So hard to say for sure. Like but like I feel like a lot of my losses have just been me not knowing the matchups very well because I've literally this is the first time I've played Master League since like before XLs existed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that
So it's
definitely
a
makes it
lot of
different then too. Because the Kyurem White is like it's a Zacian counter. Like it doesn't seem like it would be, but it's a Zacian counter, so it's actually kind of nuts.
it's like sort of. I mean, obviously, like not straight up, but like with some energy. Yeah,
You outpace though, so like you should
true.
theoretically
But like those metal claws hurt a lot.
they do, but I would much rather beat the Kyurem in those situations. But it's a pretty solid team. You're very strong into like fairies, I guess, in general.
Zacian in particular, because I like
Zacian,
Kyogre
yeah.
resists the steel
But
moves.
the Prima does not do enough. And just
Yeah,
like those charms do not really feel that super effective into like anything really. Um,
my probably Ho is probably one of the more annoying things for me.
yeah,
I
especially in the
wish,
lead because you don't really have like it's hard to kind of like throw like a nuke move at it. You probably just have to sack it. Like you're running an ABA team in many respects, right? Which is why I was curious. Which is nothing wrong with that, but I was curious about how you play things because it's definitely not like an ABB team, um, but
yeah,
kind of like
Ho's
almost like an
awkward.
ABC team.
I wish Metagross had like Meteor Beam or Rock Beam or something, so it could actually hit
Yeah,
Ho. I feel like that would be a lot healthier,
yeah.
but
Um,
maybe one day.
what do you think about Master League? Would you say okay? Here's my order of what the best leagues are for skill expression right now. It goes Master League, then Great League, then Ultra League. What do you think?
I can't say because I haven't played Ultra League,
Uh huh.
but I could see that with Master League being top because I feel like again there's a few like hard counter matchups like again like the Metagross and the Ho for example,
Mm-hmm.
but for
You
the
still do a decent
most
amount of damage with the Shadow Claw and the Meteor Mash, though. If they try, like, they can't just like incinerate you down.
yeah, but it's not great though.
No, it's
I
not.
have flipped. I don't I don't know why if people are running Shadow Hello, that's like easier to flip because the
Yeah,
Metagross damage adds up a lot
I don't
more
think
there.
Shadow Ho is better. I think people just run it because they have a good one and they want to run it. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
But yeah, I feel like in Master League, there's a lot of things have a lot of play into each other. So, and again, it is a narrower meta for the most part too. So it's a little easier to like learn and know your matchups. And like,
mm-hmm.
there's also less like curveballs of like a random whatever in the back,
Yeah,
right? So I would probably agree with that because yeah, like Great League GBL is like it's oftentimes such a crapshoot of like because there's so many viable Pokemon, it's like what are you running and what's your opponent running sort of a
right.
deal. Versus like again with Master League for the most part, there's a lot more playing things. Oh, the one thing that was kind of cooking me though is Keldeo like kind of incorporates my whole team. That was
Oh yeah,
not a
it
fun
definitely
time.
does. Yeah, I was just thinking. I didn't even think about that until now. But yeah, that's actually a very good point. Yeah, how do you deal with? Do you just like get swept by it? I guess.
I usually mostly get swept by it, or like
Mm,
just try to do damage by committee.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I think I've lost the most Keldeos I've played because even if it doesn't sweep me straight up, it like just puts them in such a lead that they kind of just go from there.
dude. I used to be a huge Keldeo hater, but it's actually very, very good this season. And
Yeah,
I
that
did make
low
that.
kick buff made it real
Yeah,
good.
I did
Mm.
make that in my tier list, dude. I feel like my tiers have been pretty spot on this season for the most part. I mean, I think I mistiered Lunala in the last time because I never played with one, but like after playing it, I was like, dude, this thing is an S tier Pokemon for sure.
Yeah,
But
Lunala and Reshiram are the two that I wish I had because they both seem like really
yeah,
good,
Reshiram's
really
super
neutral.
safe, especially with Stone Edge. It's so good. It's so good. Speaking of tier lists, let's talk about Championship Series. Tell me how on point I am though with saying Metachamp is more relevant than Annihilate because that thing was 100% relevant, dude. I can't believe. I mean, Axon did fantastic in Houston, so I can't even hate on that. But he didn't even run Metachamp himself. And I was like, this is a Metachamp meta, dude. I went back at his tier list again. I make my own mistakes on tier lists, so it's not even. It's mostly jokes. But he put Metachamp next to Bastion on his tier list. I was like, there's no way this thing is so good. Like, but it actually beats Annihilate into two shields if you don't have like a rank one Metachamp. You have like slightly higher attack. You get like a Cycle Cup breakpoint, I think, and you literally win the two shields against Annihilate, which is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Um,
It's honestly just so weird.
yeah, no, it's so good with Cycle Cut. Okay, here's my other grievance of the weekend. Not even related to tier list stuff, dude. I've never done this before. But tell me how I accidentally registered the wrong moveset on my Medicham, and it screwed me over so hard. So long story short, I obviously have run Medicham in the past, like many people. And back then, it was really good, right? I even ran with Dynamic Punch, Ice Punch. So I looked at my movesets, double checked everything. I was like, all right, this looks good. Like I was like, okay, yeah. Last time I used it was the Dynamic Punch, Ice Punch. I just had to switch the order of the moves. So I like swapped the sides to have the bait move on the left side. Didn't think too much of it. Take a screenshot of me made my team sheet the night before. We're good to go. Round one, I face a first time tournament goer, Shadow Brandino, I believe his name is. Cooked me, right? I looked him on the bracket. I looked him up on DracoViz. He's hit like top 50 GBL leaderboards before. I think he's like top 14 or so. So like he's definitely good at PvP, right? He's just never gone to a tournament. He had a super weird team. Abomasnow, Galarian Stumpfish, Shadow Charizard, Jellicent, Wigglytuff, and Annihilate, right? Was the rest. So pretty a little bit off meta for sure. Actually only 2 out of the 6 were top 16 in usage at Houston. So definitely very anti-meta. I misplayed like first game too. I probably could have won it as well, but that's just my own fault. And then I kind of like kind of RPS him in the second game, and then he RPSs me in the third game. So I lose straight up round one, which I don't think it's ever happened to me, but first time for everything. So I go straight to the losers bracket. Face my losers opponent in losers round 2. I beat them, and then going to round 3, I don't have points yet, right? So I'm like, man, I got a long way to go. I was really feeling not great about it. I sit across the table from Hebrew Hammer, a PPer, and he looks at my team sheet. And he's like, "Oh, is this like before we start out?" He's like, "Oh, is this you actually running counter on Metacham?" I was like, "What?" My heart sank. I was like, "No way!" I was like, "Wait, let me see that team sheet. It says counter, right?" Not that I shouldn't believe him, but I was like, "Let me double check." I'm like, "Oh shoot!" Pull out my laptop, open up all my screenshots, look at my screenshot, and there it is. It did say counter. I was like, I didn't even think about changing counter, right? It was the same measurement, the same stats, so I didn't look at that, right? I just looked at the charge tag. So I completely didn't even think about looking at the fast tag. Because the last time I used it, you used counter. You never used cycle cut, right? This was like years ago, but that counter was just a far superior move. Obviously not the case anymore. I was like, oh shoot.
Call the judge when they hand out the team sheets, they tell you to check your moveset.
They say this, right? But in my mind, I already checked it the night before, right?
A lot of people say a lot of things.
A lot of people say a lot of things, Look, a lot of great players misregister, right? I can't be the first. I definitely won't be the last, right? I'm not even that good anymore. But anyway, I called the judge over. I was like, hey, like, I just want to let you know, blah, 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 all this stuff. She's like, okay, well, you don't have to TM it to counter, and then you're fine. I was like, is there any way I can use cycle cut? And I already knew the answer to this, but like, I gotta ask, right? At that point, I gotta ask. I'm in the losers round 3, right? No points to my name. I gotta ask. She's like, you can use cycle cut, but you're gonna take a game loss right off the bat. I was like, bro, I'm already like in the losers bracket, right? I got no points to my name. I lose that first game or second game, right? Maybe I get RPS. Maybe I just play one thing poorly. I get out team comp something. I'm out. So I was like, all right, I'll just run counter. It's fine. What's the worst game? I'll just run counter. I bring it the first game because this guy's got a steal. He's like a licky. I was like, counter could be good here. Bro, he had a Jellicent at like 5% health maybe. I have a Metacham and he's got like 2 shields. So I can't like just throw a move and take it out. I'm trying to counter down 5% health Jellicent. I can't do it. He gets off like 2 Shadow Balls in the time period. I'm like, bro, this is so bad. If I had Cycle Cut, I could have probably Cycle Cut down, or I could have like gotten to Ice Punch and grabbed the shields. I couldn't do either of those. I get cooked in game 1. I was like, I just can't bring the match anymore. I'm still about to go out. Like, I was like, I should have just took the game loss because that was pretty much just as bad as just losing. Like, for some reason I brought the match for some reason when I had a game to spare. Like that was my free game loss right there. I went game 2 and then I RPS him game 3. I didn't bring match him any of those. So I make it to round 4, which I think that's enough for points. I was like, obviously I want to make day 2, right? I want to go a little further. I face Satorian next. I'm not going to tell him I'm ready to counter match him. You can read it, right? God. But I'm looking at his team. I was like, Like how Magic don't look bad here either, right? But like I said the same thing about Heber Hammer, so I was like, maybe I'm wrong, but I was like, he's got Empoleon, he's got Malamar, he's got like Corviknight's like not great, but it's like not terrible for counter Magic, I guess. He had like I think he had like I forgot if he had a Steelix or a Licky Lick or something. He had some other normal type that I could just do some work into. I was like, that's not terrible. Like, maybe I should consider it again. He had a Florigist too, right? That was like his main like annihilate Medicham answer, but it didn't have Disarming Voice either, so maybe not the
Okay,
worst.
here I found it.
Yeah.
Shadow Quag, Malamar, Licky Licky, Florigist, Empoleon, and Corviknight.
Yeah. So Licky and Empoleon, fantastic. Malamar, not terrible. Corviknight, probably about the same, or if not slightly better or worse than the Psycho Cup version. Quag is not too bad, right? It's just a Florigist, right? So I'm thinking like, maybe I could run it back again. So I do. And I end up like catching a foul play on my Medicham, which is still neutral, right? They moved to throw. But he was at like 25 or so, like 30% health on the Malamar. And yo, if you he had shields up too. If you have Cycle Cut Medicham, no way you could triple resisted Cycle Cut down that Malamar. But I had countered. And I'm countering that thing down. He comes in Napoleon. He has to throw a move with Napoleon because he's taking way too much counter damage too, right? And I win that first game. And right after he's like, is counter intentional? Like, did you intentionally bring counter for this tournament? I was like, I did now. Like,
Maybe.
I'm like, it is intentional now. I got no choice. And I explained to him briefly why, right? I don't know. I still don't know, right? Because I never asked him about it, but I don't know if he actually read that was counter or he just or he just assumed the Psycho Code, like most people would, right? And then when he saw the matchup, he's like, oh shoot, like what's happening, right? How is he like finishing off my Malamar? Because like again, that would make no sense. Like, how do you Psycho Cut down Malamar? I of course don't bring it into game number 2 though, because I was like, all right, the jig is up. I can't really afford to try again. And I luckily just RPS him. So I made it. I somehow made it even further. I make it all the way to loses round 5. And then I get the rematch against the guy that beat me. I'm like, brah. Glaring Stunfisk and Mama Snow core again. And here's the thing. Game 1, I fumbled it so hard, it's not even funny. I lead Quagsire into Glaring Stunfisk. He safe swaps with Mama Snow. I come in Medicham counter. Bro, how do I lose this game? He comes in Wigglytuff to farm me down, right? I completely choked it so bad. I don't even like talk about it. It was so my fault. And I still almost barely won, but like it should not have even been a loss for me. He played great. I played poorly. And then I just get RPS in the second game. I lose. So that's how I go out. But like, I couldn't bring Medicham again. Dude, this guy is so bold. He brings ABA weak to counter Medicham again the second game. He brings a Bombzo lead this time with the glaring stuff in the back. I was like, what? But yeah, the problem with this team is the only thing that core breaks his Bombzo glaring Stunfisk is Medicham. And I got counter Medicham into a Shadow Charizard, a Jellicent, a Annihilape, and a Wigglytuff. Like, if I had Cycle Cut Medicham, I would have considered it because it's a little bit better than Charizard. It's better to Annihilape. It's better to Wigglytuff. I mean, Jellicent's a lost cause, right? But that's like pretty playable for Cycle Cut Medicham. But it was hard. To be fair, again, it should have been at least a 1-1 going to game 3, so that's my own fault. But he played great. It was his first tournament. He made day 2 actually off that loser side. I was just like, dude, I just want to play anyone but this guy. Pixel Cheetah had a Shadow Gligar though, which also probably would have cooked me if I end up winning that one. Because again, Ice Punch Medicham would have been fine there, but just no way I could beat that with the counter Medicham, right? So
I don't know. I feel like Gligar is a fraud. I think Medicham maybe. So.
No. I think Medicham for sure is legit if it's Cycle Cut, but the counter
Medicham. I think counter still could.
No. You don't understand how bad trust me. You try just running a GBL, you'll know. It feels awful. It feels like it looks good in theory, but it feels
No. I'm saying I'm sure it's bad, but I feel like it can probably beat a Gligar.
The issue is it might, but the problem is like it's just way worse than it should be, and then I'm just way worse than everything else too. Usually, right?
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know if I beat the guy or not, but he got really unlucky because he faced one guy with a Obama Snow. He got his Gligar into it like both games. So he probably was rooting for me to beat that guy, so face him himself. But yeah, great tournament from him though. And speaking of the rest of the tournament, I mean that's my story. We had, I feel like the results of this tournament was like as like top seed heavy as possible. Like all the big names made it into that top 4 at least. It was Elam, Doombug, Nighttime Clasher,
Accent.
like what? Like those are arguably the top 4 players in the whole tournament. Maybe Rice Occasion was
Yeah.
low, so maybe you could throw him in the mix. But he got top 8, and he lost to Axon, so he didn't just like lose randomly to no one. But yeah, it's a pretty stacked tournament. Usage was through the roof for Wigglytuff and Quagsire. Wigglytuff usage was over 50% on day 1, highest usage by
Oh my
far, and the
gosh.
day 2 it was actually even higher than 50%. But
Yeah.
Quagsire almost hits 69% on day 2, which is even crazier. But Quagsire did feel super super safe. I don't know. I think a lot of people are clamoring for like a Wigglytuff nerf. I tweeted something out about this and it got like a lot of engagement, and then just got further engagement. I made a follow-up tweet.
I
But
feel like Caleb's just rage baiting everyone.
how am I rage baiting though? Rage baiting would imply that like I'm trying to get them mad without like good
Is it the
basis.
one?
Is it rage bait, or am I thinking clearly and some people arguing with me are
It's
not?
the one about. It's the one about Credilli, right?
Mostly Scizor, but yeah, Credilli and Scizor, I
Yeah.
guess. I was just saying that I wrote a much longer response to Richie because he was asking about it. He's like, "Oh, what do you think about like if it came down to it, like should we have Nurse Scizor or not?" Right? So I was talking about how like nurses stuff like Scizor, Credilli, like Bastion to a degree, but that wasn't really meta relevant in tournaments. GBL for sure, right? We're just not great for the balance of the game, right? Because they were like, in my mind, they're balanced Pokemon. It's just they're good. But in my mind, you don't nerf things that are good. You just buff things that are bad, right? It's like, but I understand, right, from a developer standpoint or from player standpoint, if you want a meta shakeup, that's fine. You nerf the good things, you buff bad things, and you change up the meta. We're in a slightly different meta, not like very different, but slightly different, right? Fortress, super high usage, right? This is definitely a lot more different than San Juan and fair, like decently different from Curitiba as well. I think like the meta's starting to evolve a bit and people are starting to catch on like what might be good. But again, it might change again by this upcoming weekend and then Orlando the weekend after. But some people are like complaining about like Wigglytuff needing a nerf. People weren't like raging for Wigglytuff being nerfed as much in past seasons, right? I mean, some people have always been, right? But not as much. And I'm like, dude, I don't even love Wigglytuff, right? I almost never use it in GPL. I rarely use it in shows. I mean, use this here or there, right? Actually didn't even want to use it for this tournament, but it just covered so much. I understand why over 50% of players and even more than that in top cut all use Wigglytuff. You just can't. You don't have as much roll compression with other Pokemon, right? Floor just doesn't do it. And you have 2 fairies that beat it in the head-to-head, Glaring Weezing and Clefable, and that still doesn't have enough usage, right? Which says something, right? If you're not even the best fairy in the head-to-head, and you're still better than other ones, it's because you have a lot of benefits elsewhere, right? Which again, I understand why people want it to be nerfed, but the thing is, I don't think it's imbalanced. I think it's because the meta is imbalanced. That's why it looks stupid good, right? Like, I'm not clamoring for a Quagsire nerf, right? I think the Machop rebuff was fine for it, right? It's just that there's no grass in this meta, so of course it's super safe, right? But I just like, for me, like this is just me personally speaking. People don't have to agree on this, and that's totally fine, right? I'm so sick of when we nerf things that are good and just imbalance the meta. That's not good That's not good meta balance, right? Like, I think again, if your argument is you just want a pure shakeup and you don't care the consequences of the meta that results from it, that's fine. But if we're strictly talking about actually balancing a healthy and good meta, that's not the way you do it, right? Like, in my mind, Vigoroth and Lickitung should have never been nerfed. I didn't even use this Pokemon that much, right? Again, I'm not speaking out of bias here. Like this, like trust me, you could look at my freaking videos. You could look at my GBL videos. How many Scizor videos did I come up with? I never used Scizor in a single tournament to date, right? I'm not asking for Scizor to be rebuffed. It's just that nerf was egregiously bad, right? Because I think the Night Slash nerf is totally fine, right? Because again, I don't think the double Night Slash boost like often wins you like tournaments or like changes outcomes tournaments, but it could here or there. So I get the frustration around that, especially the RNG aspect. But the bullet punch itself nerf was just like it's not that it nerfed it so that you can still play it, but it's just unplayable. But it's like it's just not as good, right? That's like what I'm trying to think of an example of this. What's something that got nerfed that's I'm trying to think of something that got nerfed that's still fairly playable. I actually can't even think of anything right now. In at least the top 16. Maybe you could say like Fortress. Like the Rock Tomb got nerfed, right? But still pretty playable. I mean, they buffed Sand Tomb, right? But like it's still like really, really good, right? With the Rock Tomb nerf, like that's a very fine nerf for Sand Tomb for Fortress
Yeah.
purposes, right? But this Scissor nerf makes it unusable, right? It's just so bad. Like there's no reason to. You just use a better steel, right? And it wasn't that dominant in last meta. So people were arguing with me. I was like, all right, you know what? I knew I was gonna be at the airport early. I got time to kill. So let me look into this, right? And I broke it down. I was like, look, I don't have GBL data, right? And again, I'm taking it purely from Show 6. Like things that are strong, super strong in polarizing GBL, I understand if they want nerf for that reason, right? And that's a whole different discussion. But for Show 6 purposes, this thing wasn't broken. It won 2 out of the 7 tournaments. Altari won 6 out of the 7 last season, right? It didn't even perform better. I just compared it. I did a side-by-side comparison with Altaria as example, right? And I don't think Altaria needs to be nerfed either. It's a good Pokemon, right? Same thing. It wasn't like, it's just like, people are just making like complaining about the meta and trying to make meta balancing claims based on purely emotion and subjective points of view. And I feel like that's so rash, right? Like it's just like, again, it's not, it doesn't like, if you want to say you want to shake up, that's totally different, right? I pull out all this data and people are still arguing with me. I'm like, what are we still arguing about? Like I literally say, like, just point me to the data and I'll reconsider. Absolutely, right? I don't have GBL data, right? Understandably so. And again, if it's OP in GBL and has like crazy win rates, that's a different story. I don't know, and I don't think so, right? I really don't think so. But I can't account for every GBL battle. I haven't seen it. They're not published anywhere, right? But at least from a Show 6 perspective, people are complaining about what, right? And the thing that frustrated me was like, because we see like, are people, do not people not realize they live in deja vu? Like it's like Groundhog's Day. Every 3 months, people complain about something else. Oh, this time it's going to be Wigglytuff, right? Last time it was Mudslap, all right? Last time it was, I don't even know if people complain that much about Scissor last 3 months, but probably, I don't know. SmackDown Bastion, sure, whatever, right? Dude, we nerf Wigglytuff. Dude, next season everyone's been playing about like Astonish being so broken, right? And Corsola having no checks, right? Or it's RPS because Corsola into a freaking Furrets or normal type or Sucker Puncher, right? And all this stuff. Like I think Wigglytuff's totally fine. The prominent ghost can hit back against it. You have to shield even into Jelson if you counter swap it. Like you don't even win to zeros. Like I think it's fine. It doesn't have that much fast attack pressure as used to, and it gets to move super slow. I don't love the play of it. I think the meta is stupid unbalanced right now, but that's a consequence of nerfing stuff, not because of Wigglytuff being broken. Like we just live like every 3 months. We're like, oh, let's nerf this one because it feels bad. Oh, let's nerf this one. Like, do people not realize how repetitive and stupid it sounds? Like, it's like there has been, like, we've had some of the best metas in the past, and we've nerfed things just for the sake of a switch up potentially, or people just complaining too much. And like even Ben from Niantic has admitted, saying that a lot of people on Niantic do look at socials. So because of that, I mean, I wouldn't blame them if they take more stake into what people play the game a lot, say, and base meta balances off that. Because who do you think GBLs and PEPs and go to tournaments more? The players or the devs? Definitely the former, right? So it is not crazy to assume that the devs don't know about meta balance as much as some of the players. In fact, I would bet money on it. That makes no sense that they would know more, right? You think they know more about meta balance than some of the top players in the world? Probably not. But the thing is, some of the top players who are just casuals are still advocating for balances that are not data driven or backed.
But the thing is, like, it's not. Pokemon have effect outside of just the data. Like,
meta impacting is different than saying it's broken and needs a nerf. Obviously, things are meta impacting, right? Like you can't just be 6 times weak to Scissor and think it's okay. That's fine,
right?
but you shouldn't
like,
be 6 times weak to anything that's meta relevant, right?
Sure, but like I feel like there's kind of two parts here. I think.
Yeah.
One is like a Pokemon like Scizor in particular, and like I don't know if I personally would have advocated for a bullet punch nerf, but I'm also not opposed to the nerf either. I think the nerf was fine, even if it maybe wasn't my top choice. I understand the nerf as well. But I do think that Scizor really, in some ways, warped the meta around it. And also just from like a playstyle perspective, the way that it can play out in battles, like oftentimes being able to just brute force its way through matchups is potentially an undesirable aspect.
Yes, but that's part of the game. again, like if you look at sure GBL is like a different story. I don't even do this in GBL, but if you look at my show 6 tournaments, like you'll see that fast attack pressure is not really my thing at all, right? I also have like occasional Bastion, but like that's about it, right? But that's just part like that's the thing, right? If people legit say like I don't want fast attack pressure to be a viable strategy anymore, then let's make everything freaking 10 turns to energy generation. That's it, right? But that's not the game, right? And that'll always be a symptom of Great League, which is why, like, in my mind, I don't think Great League's the best meta in general, but it's the most successful meta. So there's just no way we could do like pure Master League, right? And I think Ultra is just so bulk oriented that it actually would be not fun to watch or play in general. But like that's always going to be a symptom. There's always going to be something, right? Do you, not it's not you, Tristan, specifically, but just like in general, to the general you, do people really think that the Fortress Wigglytuff interaction is that much more fun than the Scissor one? Probably not, right? Or the Fortress Quagsire one? It might not be a bullet punch down, but it's death by like a million bolt switch and sand tombs, right? Or rock tombs. It is also super unfun, right? And uninteractive in many ways. It's kind of like Claydol Credilli peak rock tomb meta, right? That was just debuff central, and people did not love two shield Claydol either, right? But again, that's like regardless of, I think, but that's where the personal bias comes in, right? I don't, people can correct me if they feel differently, but I don't think that you should ever balance metas based on personal subjective feelings on if it's fun to play into or not. Is it balance is a different story, right? There's always going to be something you don't enjoy playing into, and that's totally fine, right? I don't love the 2 shield bullet punch down on the receiving end, right? And again, like it's not a strategy I utilize, but it's a legitimate strategy. It's a legitimate strategy. You could, like, right now, I was playing Canton Cup, right, which is not super relevant, but I was playing Magnemite into a Galarian Moltres. They could 2 shield sucker punch down a Magnemite, or Magneton, right, which is crazy, but that's just how strong Sucker Punch is. Should Sucker Punch get nerfed now? I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. It's annoying to play into, right? Like I think Devil and Mighty Yendo was like super annoying to play into. But like again, they're not like the moves, like the Pokemon that have the moves themselves are not broken OP over it, right? And I think like if you keep nerfing things that are good, you're obviously going to unbalance the meta, right? Because like you're getting rid of good checks and balances, and now things that are also good that didn't get nerfed have no checks and balances, and they're just like way, hyper utilized, right? And I think like if you just keep, it's just like you keep like shrinking the meta when it's good, right? And again, I think this past GPL update is a little bit different because I think the past year they've been much better about just expanding the meta, right? But in my mind, like I get it, people don't like to play into it, right? Some top players respond to my thread as well. That's totally fine, but you can't like. But this game is not about you, right? It's about the general health of the meta. You might not like it, but someone is using it because they like it, right? It's a very viable strategy. Here's the thing. You think Elam loves using Bolt Switch, Fortress, and Wigglytuff on his team? I doubt it. You think all these top players love using over 50% Wigglytuff? Dude, if we said this like a year or two ago, people would be like, there's no way, right? Like if you showed this graphic to people 2 years in the past, they'll be like, what a DJ meta this is. Wigglytuff's over 50% usage. Obviously, Charm doesn't do as much damage as
so
possible,
we should
right?
nerf Charm.
Yeah, but like again, like that's it's so short sighted. We're nerfing it because we nerfed all these great checks, right? Wigglytuff is not hyper.
I don't think that's why Wigglytuff is such high usage.
It is because it has insane roll compression with no checks.
I think it's part of the reason that Wigglytuff
like
is
you can't
high
use
usage,
fires
but it's
right
not
now.
the whole reason.
You can't use fires right now.
Right, but the thing is, like, sure, you nerfed Scizor, but Fortress filled the same role.
No, so I get you, but it's different though, right? Because if it's the meta right now is super water dragon centric, right, and ghost centric. Like Talonflame has no play into this meta. Like you can use Bastion on the meta, which a lot of people don't use it in tournaments anyway. But Talonflame is still completely useless. You get rid, like you have to think about it. You get rid of Talonflame out of the equation, right? Now the steals are less checked, right? Like Fortress is way safer, right? Like Scissor was not even this safe in the past meta, right? Fortress is way safe. Scissor didn't have over 50% usage on day 2, right? Not even close, right?
Right. So my point is, you nerfed Scissor, sure, but Fortress is filling the same role, so there's the same number of Wigglytuff checks in terms of what got nerfed and what didn't get nerfed.
No, but the thing is, it's because it's so water centric, right? Like you can't bring Talonflame now, right? Like you nerfing like these other things have unbalanced. Like okay, tell me this, right? Why are people not using Talonflame then compared to last season? Because they didn't really buff water.
People didn't use Talonflame last season outside of Europe.
People did. It was just not as much, but people did, right? People use a lot more Gorgeist too, right? Like there were fire users, right? Like even if not strict fire types. But I guess tell me why something like a Fortress is so high in usage, whereas Scizor wasn't last season. Why was Wigglytuff not as high in usage last season than now? This to me looks like a very unbalanced meta, no? Like we have the top 4 Pokemon all have 50% or higher on day number 2. That's a lot. You're telling me that over half of everyone's teams in day number 2 are all the same Pokemon, right? I mean, yeah, like we've had some metas like that, right? But like you can't tell me that this is a balanced meta, right? It is so like in past metas, like you could legitimately bring some fires, right? Like a year ago, like in Atlanta, people bring like Typhlosion, Talonflame, all this stuff, right? I'm not saying that was a perfect meta either, but it was usable, right? You could use like if you look at the types here, there's no grass types in this top 12. There's no fire types, right? There's no like a bunch of other stuff. There's no, well, I guess Fortress is a bug type, but
yeah, I mean, but like the thing is, if you look at the last GBL season, there was also no fire types or grass types. So like that didn't really change.
No, but the percentages were lower, right? Like it was a wider meta. Would you agree with that?
I haven't like looked at.
I mean, we could just look at the top.
depth.
We could just look at the top 16 if you want, right? Seattle regional, like yeah, there's Corviknight's at 50, Marowak and Empoleon are both over 50, right? On Tay 2. But I mean, you have Gorgeist in the top 12. That's a fire user, right? Like Wigglytuff's all the way at just under 19%.
I mean,
12.
okay, but Gorgeist as a fire user isn't a fire type that's beating Wigglytuff though. That's different.
It's got plenty of play into fire. No, it's not about that. You keep the steals in check, right? Like if you look at Empoleon, it's a steal, but it's like it takes neutral from a lot of things, right? It's not.
Wait, I'm so confused what your point is, because first you're saying Scizor nerf is bad because that's what made Wigglytuff good, and then I said even though Scizor got nerfed, Fortress filled its spot, and then now you're sidetracking onto. I don't even know what you're saying about Gorgeist.
No, I'm saying what I'm saying is like the Scizor and Credilli like thing I'm saying is not so much about like, oh, these two alone is what make Wigglytuff relevant. What I'm saying is when you nerf good Pokemon that are not broken, it imbalances the meta, right? I'd be fine if they buff Fortress, right? Sandtomb Fortress, and it probably still would have high usage because it beats Scizor, right? Like it still probably would have high usage.
So what unbalanced the meta? Because my point is Fortress basically just filled Scizor's role.
Let me tell you this, right? You buff Fortress, right? It would still be good in this meta. Why did you have to nerf Scizor? What was the reason? There's no reason. It might still have lower usage in this tournament this past weekend. Sure. But it's completely unplayable now, right? Even if someone wants to try to use it, they cannot. They have to use Fortress as a steel type that beats Wigglytuff, or they have to use Empoleon. Corviknight does not cut it, right? And what other steel types are even relevant right now? Steelix, there's one Steelix can top cut, right? Barely usable, right? But you literally have only two like you compress the meta completely, right? You have only 2 reliable steel types you can use. You have 1 reliable Mud Boy, right? Arguably 1 reliable ground type outside of like Quagsire, which is still pretty niche in my mind, right? You have 1 reliable fairy. That's it. Last season, you had Wigglytuff, you had Florges, you had some people running Weezing, other stuff, right? It is like by far just polarized into like, if you want to win, you run these meta Pokemon, right? You run like there is no other dark type, right? Besides Guzzlord. Like what other dark types viable, right? There's no Thievul, there's no like Mighty Enna, there's no Glaring Moltres, right? It's because it's so compressed. You can't run Glaring Moltres in a Wigglytuff Fortress meta, right? Whereas before in Scizor you could, right? But it's actually like you shrink the meta, right? Absolutely, this meta is smaller than the last meta, right? Like it forces your hand. Like I guess like the frustration I had was I didn't want to run Wigglytuff. But at the end of the day, I had to run Wigglytuff. There just was like no other better option. You could go spicy and go like a Togekiss and stuff, and obviously Axon did well with it, right? But it is much harder to run because you don't have those resistances. And I think a player not as good as Axon or like Pokemango, who also ran it in Top Cut, cannot go that far with it, right? Whereas, you have Wigglytuff, you could run a meta team and do pretty well. Wouldn't you say that's an issue? Like where you shrink the meta constantly, right? We're on year like what 7 of PvP, 7 and then some, and the meta somehow is like almost feels smaller than some past years, right? Even though you have like a lot of things with move changes. Anyway, that's just I mean, again, people don't have to agree, right? It's okay.
Weren't you just a few months ago complaining that the meta was too broad and you were getting core broken by random Mightyena and that
I did.
wish
Yeah,
it was a more narrow
Yeah.
meta?
but I think, again, I think it depends on how you look at things and stuff, right? I think yes, that is a concern, but that's just kind of open Great League, and I think from a viewer experience and from a player experience, it could be good. Like there could be a happy medium, right? You shouldn't have to be like it's so wide that every single thing could just complete, like one random thing could completely core break you, right? But I think honestly that's just more symptom of Great League that will just happen with any wider meta. But I don't think the alternative is you just shrink it completely. Look, honestly, if it came down to it, I think my issue with this meta in particular is not even just the size, right? Because Fortress, Wigglytuff, Quagsire, super polarizing matchups, right? Like those playing into each other are super polarizing. Guzzlord right into Wigglytuff, what? Right? But like if it was like, again, like I said so many times, like Flying Cup is like my thing, right? I love Flying Cup. Or you could say EYC or LIC meta, super small metas. They're really good metas. They're really, really good. This is a small meta. It's not a good meta. It's a small meta though, right? Both things can be true at once, right? It could be a super wide meta and be a bad meta, right? Again, I think that was me more so responding to Tauntaun and Potamon's tweets about it at the time, being like, is it really a bad meta? I thought about it myself. I was like, yeah, I kind of get it. Like team building's a lot, right? But I'll take that over this, right? Any day, right? If it's an order events, like I wouldn't say last meta, it was so wide, it made it the best one. No, I mean, the best metas, in my opinion, was 2022 Worlds, right? That was a really, really good meta. And then the Metachamp meta, where it was like 100% usage of Metachamp. Those are probably the two best metas we've ever had. I don't care. And that's actually a great example, right? 2022 meta was decently wide. A lot of people had play, right? It was like 12 or so, like, it was like 10 plus unique Pokemon between like Dancing Rob and Golden Hada in the grand finals. Like it was kind of crazy, but it was wide. And then you have the Metacham meta where it was like everyone's running Metacham and the meta was super small, but it was super neutral, great to play into. Those are both good metas and they're different, varying in size, right? I don't think the meta from the past 6 months, because they didn't really change between September to December, and December to March. I don't think that meta changed that much. I thought those were both like really wide metas, but they were decent metas. They weren't good though. I mean, the downside is it was so wide that there was just crazy core breakers that you just could not outplay sometimes, even if you're the best players in the world. But it wasn't a bad meta either, right? I would rank it as like somewhere in the middle / on the upper tier of like better metas we've had. But again, it could be a wide meta and be good, and be a small meta and be good. This is a small meta that's bad in my mind, right? I don't know. More people could play into it. Like maybe I'm overreacting. We're only 3 tournaments into the season, right? But I think it's. I've always disagreed with this approach, right? And you could quote me on this forever, right? That you should never nerf things that are good. If you really want to do it for the sake of shakeup, that's fine. But I don't think that's a great meta making decision. If you want to do it to freshen up things, switch things up, that's fine. But the players are going to experience the consequences of that, right?
I mean, I think there's nerfs that are good and nerfs that are bad. I agree with like something like Vigoroth. I don't think needed to be nerfed. I agree with the point you made on that earlier, but I do think that you need nerfs still. To curb some level of power creep. Otherwise, things are just going to keep raising the bar higher and higher and just keep power creeping farther and farther. And also, sometimes like there's just certain Pokemon that need to be nerfed from like a health standpoint, and like I think that.
Okay. Wait. We'll just sorry to interrupt, but real quick follow up to that. What do you define as a health standpoint? Because again, like that's why I did the breakdown of stats on Altaria versus Scizor. Like, what do you define as healthy? Because performance-wise, Scizor wasn't doing it. So what makes it unhealthy? It's like that's like a very subjective like concept, right?
Says the guy who likes running
Scizor, huh?
I said, says the guy who likes running Bastion.
I think it was it won like 2 tournaments, but its performance was like pretty crap, right, across the board from most people that used it, right? It's just that so happens that people that ran it were good with it, right? And people were really weak to it, right? But again, like what do you mean by what do you mean by healthy, right? Because I was asking these players this too, like what do you define as healthy? Because you can't like if Scissor's not winning you that many tournaments and games, I think it's healthy. Why are we targeting the Pokemon that's like in the in the bottom 20 percentile win rate, right? At tournaments.
It's not like just a performance thing though. It's the way that certain Pokemon have certain interactions. Like again, like I don't think Wigglytuff is a healthy Pokemon. It has a lot of very polarizing matchups.
But
I think
yeah, but
like
Pokemon like that have always existed in Pokemon Go. Like you like again, like if that's what people want, they have to like just go straight like from square zero and nerf and just make certain Pokemon obsolete. Fortress shouldn't be a thing then, right? Or give it like Mudshot or something, right? Like Wigglytuff shouldn't be a thing, or give it Fairy Wind. Like you need to just scrap so many things because you nerf like people are using band-aid solutions. They're nerfing one thing. There's going to be something else polarizing down the road. There's no way there isn't. There always is, right? And it's going to be something that's unhealthy for a meta, as people claim. That's a symptom of Great League. You can muscle through things with fast attack pressure that you can't in Ultra League Mastery. That will always be a symptom as long as you have fast attack moves that have fast attack pressure. That's always going to be a thing, right? There's no way around it. Like again, like I'm not advocating that we just have all these like D-gen fast attack pressure stuff, but that's a thing. And like if people like we're plugging one hole in the bow and opening another, right? Like how does that solve anything by nerfing one Pokemon at a time and then complain about another Pokemon for the next 3 months when it happens? That always happens, right? Like again, that's what I was saying to Richie. I was like, I feel like we just live in deja vu and we're just like hoping for a better meta, but like we don't really know how to balance it when we're constantly like nerfing things that are actually good for the meta and introducing things that aren't good, or just reinvigorating things that weren't as good and all of a sudden they're good now because they don't have checks, which is Wigglytuff in this example. Oh, Cass, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, I think that whenever something is particularly targeted, like they did with Scizor, like they did with
Vigoroth.
Vigoroth, that's when it starts to feel like deliberate unbalancing
Yeah,
of
exactly.
the meta. Like it's like you don't I agree that it's better when you kind of make minor tweaks across the board to bring things in, maybe nerf some things so they're not like as prevalent, giving room for other things to grow. Like it's a scalpel maneuver, not a hatchet,
Mm-hmm.
So when something has multiple strikes against it in an update, I feel like that's a particularly bad sign for the meta ahead.
It's a very intentional sign, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not an accident, right? You don't nerf counter rock slide and body slam accidentally without acting like you're not targeting Vigoroth as a whole, right? And obviously some of
Yeah.
the fighters, but like it's the same thing with Scizor. Like it's like they're not saying we want to balance Scizor. They're saying we don't want you using Scizor. I think that's
Yeah.
so stupid. Why are we reducing the size of a meta 7+ years into PvP? Why don't we have just more? Like, I look at some of these moves and I never understand, like, why scratch such a bad move? Like, why are their moves this bad in the game? It make like frustration is a whole separate example, and that's totally fine, right? But like, there's some Pokemon that just makes like Zen Hepa makes sense because you don't want Chance to be OP. But there's some Pokemon that have the stupidest moves that do nothing for it. And like you could buff it 5 times, it might not be relevant, right? Why is it this bad? And all of a sudden we
I
finally
still
have Scizor that might be usable now in Great League, which it wasn't for years
Yeah.
before outside of limited metas. And then we're like, nah, you guys had too much fun. We're gonna just scrap this idea completely. And
I still don't think this meta that we are currently looking at is as bad as like
it's
the
not the worst.
Noctowl,
Yeah.
Trevenant,
Yeah, it's not
Lantern
the worst by
trifecta.
far. Yeah, that was
And
really
I
bad.
say that as a Noctowl lover. Like I enjoyed being able to see that Pokemon more, but I do think that that's when it felt so stale just seeing that time after time. And I don't think that this is as bad, but looking at the 3 results that we have from this meta, it does seem like we are looking at something that's more dense, and I look forward to the update in the future that potentially opens it back up, namely, hopefully the one before NAIC and Worlds.
Yeah, like I think the frustrating part for me is we've had better metas. How like I hate how it feels like we're regressing every couple months once in a
And
while.
when you were complaining about how open it was, I was the one sitting here also saying like that's such a nonsense
Okay,
complaint.
you might be right on that, right? And I might have like, well, because this is like grass is greener kind of situation. Like in hindsight, I'm like, bro, I'll take the open meta core breaker shit my any day over this, right?
Bring me back Mighty
Well,
Yenna,
well,
please.
no, because I think for me, I'm just like, well, I'm always like, how do we improve things, right? So like, I think the last meta, like 6 months prior to this, was a decent meta, right? It was still a lot of fast attack pressure with Mudslappers, but like there was checks and balances, right? And I was the first one to say we shouldn't nerf Mudslap because then stuff like Bastion Carping just become like crazy, right? Like we can't do that, right? Like or
Yeah.
Empoleon, I guess, like, but especially if you don't buff Mudshot, which I'm glad they did, because if they didn't buff Mudshot, like. Scizor or Fortress could be like even crazier, but and Empoleon. But I mean, that's I guess like I don't know if exactly what I was doing, but I guess like what I would think I was trying to say there is like how do we improve the current meta to make it better, right? But honestly, it wasn't the worst meta by any means. It wasn't the best meta, but it wasn't the worst meta, right? But it's just like I always think back on like be careful what you wish for, right? Because when we buffed Lantern, people are like, oh my gosh, finding electrics are relevant. Bro, that thing was too relevant, right? And we suffered for 6+ months over the Noctowl Trevenant Lantern meta, right? And like Worlds 2024 in Honolulu, we had Skarmy, Chargebug, Lantern, Gligar everywhere. That was a terrible meta, right? We had people, the best players, fighting for world championship in that meta. Like that feels awful when we had better metas in the past, But again, like I'm not going to just pretend like suddenly this is a good meta or a better meta because there's not like random core breakers. There's barely any core breakers, right? Yeah, there's some spice, right? Like I'll give it to Doombug and Rise and some other players that brought some spice, right? But like top of the top meta was cream of the crop still, We'll see. Again, if I'm overreacting and next week it's the widest meta ever, right? In Seville and what was it? The place in Latin
Cape Town. Oh no,
there's
the place in
there is
Latin.
Cape Town too, but there's I forgot where it was, but is it Mexico? I forgot the name of the
Oh my gosh.
Querétaro or something.
Yeah.
That's the same weekend as Orlando.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought that was this upcoming weekend. Okay, but anyway,
No.
I mean for the
Those
rest
two
of
are
this
the
like
same
upcoming 2 weeks, right? Like, hey, if the meta is a lot more different, that's fine. I have a feeling it won't be. Maybe Europe will do things. I mean, I appreciate Europeans for always trying to go outside the box, and they play a more neutral meta in general. Like you can see from Stone Collection, the stuff he brings is always going to be fairly neutral, right? But that's just not the mentality in a lot of other places, and they're going to use Wigglytuff Fortress if they can, right? And is how it is. Tristan said something earlier that I want to respond to, but I forgot what he said. So you said 2 things, right? You said 1 and 2. You said something about the health of meta, which is the second thing. What was the first thing you said, Tristan? The last thing you said
I don't remember. You've been blabbing on and on. I can't remember what I
said. Anyway,
we should probably talk about like the teams that people use.
Bro, whoever's sitting in traffic right now, they're like, man, I'm getting the most out of this traffic ride. We're still, it's not even home yet.
I think you mean whoever's sitting in
Also,
the
TSA line. Yeah. Yo,
Also,
I got 4 hours left for you all stuck in TSA.
Also, I gotta pop off and take a phone call real quick.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Just feel free to mute yourself, and then we'll come back in. Yeah, he said something that I wanted to respond to, but I can't remember. Anyway, again, from a dev side, like this is just me, right? Just because I'm saying,
can I like leave and then just rejoin when I'm back?
You can. I'm just not sure if it'll mess up the recording or not. I would prefer you just mute and just like come back if that's possible. But
okay,
that's my preference. Just so we don't like imagine we just lost all this and then we're just like,
oh my god,
let's record from the beginning.
I'm not recording this again.
Yeah, I'm not. If we do, I'm like, dude, this meta's perfect. All right, let's go on.
Let's go.
I played other competitive esports games and stuff, right? And a lot of them try to they'll look at win rates, they'll look at data to impact things, right? And they'll legitimately say like, hey, we're trying to keep all these it's not Pokemon, but whatever they're balancing, right? Like champions or whatever, right? Like usually let's example. We'll try to keep this at a healthy 50% win rate, right? And they'll hotfix stuff. Dude, the thing also that helps with other games is they don't update it every 3 months. They will update things every 2 weeks, and sometimes they'll do it even more frequently if it's too broken and unbalanced.
Can
They'll
you
hotfix
imagine
things.
though if we had like
Can you
an
imagine
attack
that?
update
Can
every
you
2 weeks?
or
Are you
yeah,
insane?
dude, that'd be amazing. Just to
No.
bounce things. No, but the thing is, their bounces aren't so drastic that it just changes things to be meta
Yeah,
relevant overnight.
okay. It,
You know,
like
it's like little
I
tweaks.
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like if they were more capable of just doing little bits at a time, but like they can. I mean, they don't even have like launched that update. Like
Yeah. No. Okay.
come on.
I'm not speaking about the capabilities or the ability to do it, but imagine if they can execute it perfectly, right? That would be so much healthier, right? Like they would have.
I don't know.
You're skeptical that they can do it, or you're skeptical that it would be healthy.
No. I'm skeptical about how healthy it would be because like I, the complaints I foresee just so many complaints about like basically every tournament being like slightly different meta. Like you were
I feel like
complaining
right now that's kind of how it is already, though.
you
No.
were complaining last season
Hmm.
about like everything being so open, right? Like
Yeah.
and you were not the only one
Sure.
saying that it
Yeah.
was really hard to
But
team build.
that's
But like can you imagine if like you couldn't really look at those like the results from previous tournaments, like you had to sort of like
no, but
do something a little bit different
well, no,
like
but that's how it is
every
right now.
weekend?
No, that's how it is already, though. Because I feel like we live in the current state of championship series, at least for this like past year or so. Every like week to week, the tournament meta does shift. It's very unlikely that we have the
Well,
same repeating teams, right? Like
I
Curitiba,
don't
a lot of people start picking up Fortress because Hard Jeff ran it, and a
see, but
lot of
that I
Brazilians
would
ran it,
argue
right?
that that's like comes down to more of a regional difference rather than
But
like
NA started using. I feel like NA started using it because of them, right? Like
I
you
don't know.
you think like okay, I'll give you. I guess like my question is, you think Orlando would look more similar to Houston, and you think the Latin tournament is going to look more like Curitiba,
Yeah,
or
I think that's
really?
way more likely. Yeah.
I'm
Because
not as convinced,
and I
but
think it's
I think there.
because
I
a
do
lot
agree
of the
with you though.
same I think it's because a lot of the same players are practicing within the same circles. Like so that's why we
Uh,
have slightly like regional differences.
okay, I'll give you an example. Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
What is it? 1 week or so. It was like 1 week after Belo Horizonte or whatever, the first tournament of the year, right? Where Hard
Mhm.
Jeff won it with a lantern and some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hard Jeff went, Steinar went, a bunch of other Brazilians, I think, went as well. Dude, they brought completely different teams. I mean, they might be in the
But
NA region now, but
yeah.
it's not like they drink some water on the plane and all of a sudden, like, I'm going to run Bastion down, right? I'm in NA now. Like, it was more so they made the meta read that, like, hey, this upcoming week, it's the same exact meta, but it's not going to be the same exact meta, you know? Like, I think, like I agree with you to an extent, right?
But
Because I
you
think,
could
like,
argue that
Europeans,
those
for
team
example,
reads are based on like the community.
but why, what does that mean, though? Why wouldn't they just run the thing that worked a week ago in Brazil? Are they saying they can't win successfully without Bastion and NA? What is?
I'm saying by making a team read, they're
Hmm.
thinking more about like who's going to be there and how they're going to play rather than
Uh, yeah, but does that happen every time? I don't know. There is some truth for what you're saying for sure, right? Like again, like I've talked about this before. Europeans rely more on charge back pressure for the most part, right? Outside of
Mhm.
like a few players, right? And so you have a lot more charge back oriented stuff. But I think in our current state of the championship series, there has been way more emphasis on like making adjustments week to week on the meta and what people realize are like good, right? Like I think I think more people can use Metasham this upcoming weekend
Mhm.
because of how strong you look in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's like I don't think that's like all the Europeans were onto Metachamp for this whole season, and they're like, now it's our time to try and show you how good Metachamp is. I think like there might be some people like that, but I think a lot of them were like, whoa, this thing does look really good in Houston. I think I'm going to do it, right? And maybe more people end up running Jelson because of it, because like Jelson's actually a much more reliable answer to it. Completely walls it off than like Wigglytuff, right? I don't know. Those are two very
Mhm.
different Pokemon. They probably run both, but um, Yeah, I don't know. I think like anyway, I'm not even sure what my original point was at this point. I've rambled so much. Okay, again, people don't have to agree with me, right? Like that's okay. I open this debates and discussions, and like if this is obnoxious, then you can just stop listening to podcasts. That's fine. I'm just
Also, we've
saying.
seen how you can be proven wrong since you complained about an open meta
Sure,
last
yeah,
season.
absolutely. I'll be the first one to admit I'm wrong. Yeah, like I'm complaining about nothing when things could have got a lot worse, like what we're at now. But, um, I think it's. I mean, I played in the meta right this whole weekend, and it was like not a fun meta to play into. Like I'm sitting there thinking, like, do I bring Wigglytuff and risk getting walled off completely and have no way out of it, or do I bring Steelix and make it so that my opponent has no way out of it? And start bringing this, dude. Y'all thought Bastion was toxic, dude. Steelix is way more polarizing in Show
Ugh.
6. You could just hard win
So
Empoleon,
annoying.
freaking Corviknights, Fortress, like Wigglytuff. Like, whereas Bastion, you get hit back with the you win with Empoleon. You get hit back with Corviknight. Like, there was just so like both lose to Mud Boys, both lose to fighters, but like the Steelix was kind of disgusting, right?
There are lots of different play styles, like for Pokemon, like different Pokemon,
Yeah.
right? But like there are some Pokemon I think that just are gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like no matter what you do to them. Like Steelix is one of those
agreed.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's like
Should we nerf Steelix? No, there's one in the top
No.
16, right? Is it annoying to play into? Freaking yes, right? Especially on the receiving end. You asked my opponents that got Stunner Fang down for my Steelix and they had to come in and eat a bunch of Crunch and Psychic Fangs. Dude, that stuff had to be annoying, right? Even if they didn't say it to my face, it's got to be so annoying to deal with. So what? It worked, What do you want me to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
team built around it, like exactly. Like, there's things that are just annoying to play into. There are always going to be things that are annoying to play into, right?
God,
but you
always.
can't
Yeah.
nerf things just because they're annoying to play into if their win rate isn't that high. It just does not make sense. That's like me advocating for a freaking Mightyena Thievel nerf because I hate playing into it. Dude, those things were winning tournaments.
Yeah.
They came
no.
close. Like, it's stupid, right? That's like, I'd be a laughing stock if I said that, right? I mean, some people might agree with me, honestly, but I don't, like, that's not a...
It'd be really cool if they did win a tournament, though.
Yeah, and honestly, if they win a tournament, that's fine too, right? Like, doesn't mean they need a nerf if like the win rate across the board is still so much lower than something like Altaria.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, again, whether you agree with me or not, keep this in mind when next season happens, and when following seasons happen, when they nerf things.
I think you mean when you make complaints online that Niantic or whoever's like working for Niantic.
Okay. Read. No. Honestly, I hope they nerf Wigglytuff at this point, right? Because I don't think people are going to get it. When we nerf Wigglytuff, let's see what the next meta looks like. Because I'm telling you, these other fairies just aren't good. They're just not good enough, right? In this current meta. The ghosts are so dominant. Jellicent's so dominant. You run Trailblaze on the floor, just so what? You still got to shield the Jellicent. You can't counter swap that thing. Right? You can't beat no Corsola.
I tried to do that. I tried to do that at locals last weekend.
You can't beat no Corsola.
Not last weekend, but the weekend before. And it's like, it's painful.
The next meta, if they nerf Charm, my guess is it'll be Ghost, Fairy, Dark, Triangle, RPS. That's my prediction. I could be wrong, right? Other things can change. Obviously, it won't be the only... If they nerf Wigglytuff, it won't be the only change, right? But that's my prediction. And that'll be, if they do that in June, that'll be our World's meta. And we'll see how people like it or not, right? Luckily, there's only one, maybe PGCS and maybe NAIC, depending on how those metas look. But theoretically, there wouldn't be too many metas on that, right? And we'll see how it goes. Hey, Tristan, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Well, luckily for you, we didn't talk about anything else besides the same stuff. So you're missing nothing.
We're still rambling.
All I said was to catch you up is I hope they do nerf Wigglytuff next meta, and then we'll see what happens. My prediction is we end up in a Fairy, Ghost, Dark, Triangle RPS meta next, and maybe throw in a little bit of Steel. Which isn't really how polarizing it is right now. Because the issue is Wigglytuff's a great roll compression Pokemon that can beat Ghost and also beat Starks, right? So it literally stops the RPS triangle in itself in some ways, which is why a lot of people bring it, right? Anyway.
But it just has no real counterplay into an Empoleon or a Fortress.
Absolutely. I agree. That's why I don't want to run it, right? That's why I didn't want to run it. But like until every Pokemon has more coverage moves, we just can't. Like look, give Wigglytuff Flamethrower and give it a third charge attack and give every Pokemon a third charge attack. Boom, right? We have a better meta overnight in my mind. Everything will have more play into each other.
Or you just nerf Charm into the ground and we have a better meta because Wigglytuff is gone.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if the next meta is better or not. I mean, it might not be worse than this one. That is for sure, because this one's not great. But I don't blame.
Listen, just
But-
the fact of adding like a third move would break everything. So
It makes things so much better.
I think
so much better.
but yeah, I mean,
more coverage is worse. But yeah,
I don't know. I still personally think that like Wigglytuff is one of the like most problematic Pokemon, just period, in terms of it. Like its matchups.
but it wasn't until this season.
No, it's always been on.
No. But its usage was low enough that it wasn't as problematic because you don't face that RPS. I mean, GBL is a different story, but you don't face that in Show 6 tournaments as often. Yeah, you'll face someone running Wigglytuff and you're like, this is annoying to play into Steve's team like this, but it is what it is, you know? But like, or anyone else's. But like most people wouldn't rely on it that heavily because it didn't have so much roll compression compared to
It's
everything.
always had roll compression. Because it's always been anti-fighting, anti-ghost, anti-dragon, anti-dark.
No, I know.
Like it's always had that roll compression.
Okay, but then tell me why last in Seattle it had lower than 19% usage in the top 16. If it's not that obviously the typing and its moves didn't change. I mean like roll compression specifically in that meta, right? That meta was wider, so you didn't need to rely on Wigglytuff, right? This meta is smaller, so you have to rely on it for roll compression because you don't have other roll compression options.
I'm just wondering how much longer we can talk about this. Like, should we make a bet about how much longer we can talk about this?
Kaz, is this a challenge?
Look, you know what, Kaz? And 2 weeks from now, I can't wait to hear your take on the meta once you're playing it. You know what I will say though? Aegislash. I think it could be pretty good in this meta. I do. I was looking into it. I was like, no one made top cut with it. But I'd be shocked at the end of this Memories in Motion season if we don't got no memories of Aegislash winning at tournaments. Because
are you gonna make the Arceus Aurelius claim?
No. Well, Axon kind of did already. He tweeted out that Aegislash still won't win at tournaments. But this is a guy that thinks Med Champ is as good as Bastion this season. So I don't know, World Champ. You know, I have a lot of respect for Axon. I like him a lot. But I don't know if Aegislash wants to.
I do know.
To win a tournament. It's inaccessible is the problem, and I think that is the limiting factor because you reduce the amount of people that can actually run it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The Masked Asian got top 32 with it, so not top cut, but pretty close.
So something happened to him actually. I don't remember what. Someone's telling me about this. I don't know. He got like a penalty or something happened where he shouldn't have like gone straight to losers. I think. I forgot what it was though. Maybe he was like a few minutes late to a table or something. I don't want to make up stuff. So like, if him or someone else like can chime in on that. But I could have sworn I wasn't on to him specifically, but I was talking to someone on day 2, and they're like, "Oh, the Masked Asian like he could have made it further, but I don't know what happened." He's a very good player too. So he okay. So he lost to Ashton Ash. Let me see who. Oh, okay. He lost to Mott's right. Oh, this guy was killing it actually. So Mott 11. I actually chatted with him a little bit. And great, really nice guy. He actually gave me a really good rank Aegislash actually. When we did some trades on day 2, this is actually quite the upset. He 2-1 Masked Asian. He's technically Mott is technically seeded higher, but Masked Asian just going to a lot of tournaments. I would say like Masked Asian should be seeded way higher. Then he 2-0s Ashton Ash.
Wait, what are you talking about? I pulled up the Masked Asian Dracoviz profile. He's only done 4 tournaments ever.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So his seeding is way lower than it should be.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's done a lot of tournaments. Okay,
No. Yeah, he hasn't done a lot. Yeah, so his seeding should be higher in my mind. But
okay, I misheard you.
Xmot 11. No, you're okay. There's a chance that maybe I just misspoke. I don't know. But Xmot 11, he 2-1s Masked Asian, then 2-0s Ashton Ash, which is a crazy upset run. But that's why like the finals for that group was the 12th seed versus the 19th seed. That is insane. Who was the because Chen Yu also goes down early.
Chen Yu is also running Aegislash, it looks like.
Yeah, maybe he just not it. I guess I don't know. Magic Mason also just no showed, so obviously his 3 seed was gone too. Um, what happened to the Mass Asian though? I feel like someone told me something. Oh, so he won the rematch against Mott. Oh, dude, he was going on a 2-0 like rampage in the losers
Mm-hmm.
bracket, and then he ends up losing at Ashenash, which is fair. I mean, Ashenash's a very great player too. It's a 1-2 there. Maybe nothing happened. I don't know. I could have sworn heard something happened in the winner's side for him to lose something, or maybe it was Mott that told me this himself. I'm actually not sure what it was, but whatever happened, I mean, anyway, I think it was good that he went on so many 2-0 runs, right? Did he use the Aegis Slash? Is a different story. And he did get redemption by beating the guy that beat him earlier.
Yeah, so it looks like 6 people used Aegislash in Houston. You had the
Okay.
Masked Asian got 25th, Alan got 33rd, Arrow got 49th, Chen Yu and Uemura both got 65th, and then Stud Muffins got 97th.
Yeah, Slumber's a great player, but it was a tough tournament for him. I think he went 0-2. I'm actually not sure what happened though, but
Yeah, it looks like he did go too.
yeah.
So, and then Uemura went 1-2, Chen Yu went 1-2, Arrow went 2-2,
Yeah.
and then
Funny enough, a lot of them were in the same bracket. The Mass Asian
and Chen Yu at least.
Chen Yu were in the same one. Yeah, or maybe not that many, but I don't know. Anyway, maybe we should break down what actually happened in Houston. But we're only like an hour into the championship series, right?
Oh my gosh!
Congrats to Ilam for winning his third tournament. I mean, he played fantastic, and dude, that's the thing with Doombug's team. People had to bring Wigglytuff. I think every single game that I remember Doombug playing, if the opponent had a Wigglytuff, they brought it into him.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was pretty soft to it, right?
He is very soft too, which is why, like, I know in his interview at the end, he was like, haha, like RPS. I was like, huh? Like, you're the one that's really weak to Wigglytuff. What do you, like, you're kind of inviting that into
what
your
did
team.
you think would happen?
That's what I'm saying. No, but he played well, though. I mean, like, Nighttime Flasher brought Wigglytuff into him 3 games in a row, and he still 3-0'd him, right? I will say, Doombug had a chance to reclaim the title of most tournament wins, but he got second, so he's still tied with Hard Jeff at 6 apiece. Rise had a funny interview where he was after a win, and someone's like, "Oh, I think like DeFi was asking him, he's like, oh, like you're scrimming with people like Hard Jeff and stuff, and maybe Doombug, and they have like 6 championships. Like, how does it feel to be in the company of them, right?" And he's like, "Man, I can't imagine winning 6 myself." I'm like, "Bro, what? You got 5. If anyone can imagine it, it's you." Like, what are we talking about?
I'm like, did
he
forget he has 5?
It was a humble joke, but it was kind of funny. I was like, when he said that, I was like, dude, there's no way. Huh?
He's definitely imagined it.
Yeah.
So Rice ran Gorgeist and Shadow Galarian Weezing. Yeah.
Him and Doombug both had really weird teams, but it was fun to watch for sure.
Yeah. So Doombug, just so everyone knows, was Guzzlord, Corviknight, Wicky, Gorgeist, Alolan Ninetales, and Politoed.
Rise ran a Dragon Claw Guzzlord too, which really came and bit him in the butt against Axon because he was able to farm something down. I was like, oh shoot, like he could probably one-shot the Sokus from half health. And my friend's like, oh no, he's running Dragon Claw. I was like, oh my gosh, he is. Like that's so rough.
Yeah, well, I think he probably thought like, oh, he has the Galarian Weezing and 2 Steel types, so like he has like enough to hold off the fairies. Was probably his thought process.
Wiggly in particular. But Togekiss, you can't counter swap a Togekiss with Weezing because you just get outpaced.
Yeah.
Empoleon, same thing, right? You just get hit by the Aurasphere. or Gorgeist is also like not the most comfortable, right?
Right. Wait, what moveset was Axon running, by the way? Was it a Psyshock? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's even worse for the Weezing,
yeah. But some other great storylines too. Nighttime Clasher getting third, obviously, Axon getting fourth. Andy. So his team, wow, that's a good team if I say so myself, because he took it from me the day before. No, this guy was like, we shared the same hotel room. He's a local mine.
No, but he didn't take it from you because he used Psycho Cut.
No, he took it from me. I took a whole different team from Bizarro Caleb, right, in the past. But no, but he played fantastic, and this was his first ever top cut. The fact that he did it on the winner side was amazing, and he wins like right off the bat on winner's side in day 2 to secure him a top 8 finish. Kind of crazy. And he lost to Accent and Junebug, but like those are some good players.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
but
then
he also beat in day one. He beat Pokemango and existing
oh no,
Archie.
100%. No, he's legit, right? I'm local sim, so like he
Yeah.
regularly like does well in our local challenges and cups, and like, well, you know him, Tristan, because you met him at his first ever tournament, which was LA 2 years ago. Because he was in the same bracket as me, you, and Adib, right? The story of me getting beat by you and Adib back to back tournaments. Andy was a part of that story. He was in the same bracket as well as the three of us.
Yeah. I think I
Um,
played him. Did I play him at NXT too? I can't remember now.
you definitely played him in LA. I don't remember if you played at NIC, but I think he beats
Oh no, he
Adib in
played.
LA.
He lost to Deeb in NXT.
Yeah, but he
He
beat
Mhm.
Adib
beat
in
Deeb in
LA.
LA and
Yeah.
lost to me. Yeah.
He's a really solid player, right? And he was pretty new to like show 6 PvP back then. And the fact that he was still beating people like a deep and stuff and other players was pretty impressive. And then he's just been going consistently to tournaments throughout. And yeah, I mean his first ever top cut. He usually like in the past he's played like kind of poorly on stream because like probably nerves and stuff. But like he was playing clean on day 1. Day
Yeah,
2 was a little bit shakier, but
playing
yeah,
on stream is definitely tough, especially your first
yeah,
first several times. But like the
yeah,
more you do it, the more comfortable you can get. So
yeah,
he probably just got more comfortable. And like I think I didn't get to see very much of the tournament, but I did see I think one or two of his matchups, and
yeah.
I saw him against existing monkey, and he
Oh,
was
those
definitely
games were
locked
crazy.
in. He
Yeah.
played well. He was locked in.
I'm very proud of him too. And again, you don't understand. He was switching teams every other practice tournament. He was playing like we played like so many Canada Cult tournaments when we got there because we got there on Thursday, and like I don't think any of us prepped that hard. He would had a different team. Like he's like, oh, you want to scrim? Like once in a while, it's like a Shadow Dustclops. I'm like, bro, what are you doing right now, right? But and then finally, like it was like around like 11 p.m. the night before. I was like, dude, just run my team, right? Like I think it's a little bit better. You already know how to use these Pokemon, right? Like I think like you're bringing like really unbalanced teams. Like like I think like I'm not saying I have the best team here, but I think it's a really solid team that you could easily pilot well, and you pilot it well. So, but yeah, Senki Lore as well too. Oh, doesn't go to a lot of tournaments, but always performs really well, which is kind of crazy.
His team was definitely more unique too.
Super weird, yeah.
He had this Shelgon for
Yep.
alligator,
He only had 2 Pokemon in the top 12 meta in day 1.
Cradilly, Annihilate.
And then Gel Too Good, very young player too. He so for some people that might recognize that name, he made top cut. He made day 2 last year in San Antonio, but I think he was like he either got sick on the second day or I think his family was only in town for a day, so he couldn't play day 2. So he just no
Oh my
showed day
gosh.
2.
He's
Oh,
also
man.
I believe he's also friends and teammates with DHC United.
Maybe I don't know about
I think
yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they.
maybe grassroots.
I think he ran the same
Yeah,
team.
he's only a
The
senior.
time.
He's a senior in high school actually, so he's pretty young. So I think he carpooled like nighttime Glacier to get there because he's from like the Dallas area, I believe. But first ever top 8 for him, but he played really well too. And honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if he wins a tournament sometime in the near future with the way he's playing.
Yeah, well, he's only done 3 tournaments. He got 13th in San Antonio, which you were talking about, and I guess he no showed day 2. He got 17th in Toronto and 7th in Houston.
Dude,
So,
that's really freaking good. That is really crazy good. Yeah, that's a very impressive run from someone that young and new to the scene too. So
also, just a crazy little fact: BJ, I looked. He didn't play a single day 3 or game 3 the entire weekend, and
Jeez.
he got tied for 9th.
Oh my god.
that's kind
He
of crazy.
2-0'd every win, and his 2 losses were 0-2s.
Who did he? Oh yeah, he made a big goof against Senki Lore. He was telling me about it, and Senki Lore was telling me about it too. On day 1, and then
What happened?
he like I think he threw like a ice punch on Medicham on charge like priority against something that like when he shouldn't have, he should just overfarmed. I did the same thing actually against Shadow Bambino, so I was like, oh, I relate heavily, but he just misplayed. He was super nervous just even playing pocket, like he was like shaking afterward. I'm like, bro, like chill, man, you good too, like you might not as good as Pocket.
Yeah, he 2-0'd Pocket.
But yeah, I mean, you might not be as good as Pocket, but you could take a game off him or two. He had a shield KO, which is kind of cool to see. I was doing my own stuff though, so I had to watch it back later. But
Yeah,
Anyway,
and then his day 2 loss was to Axon. Yeah, it's just crazy. Literally every single match was a 2-0 or an 0-2.
yeah. Hey, he's speedrunning it for sure. Houston regional. There's a graphic that Soph made that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think she's been doing these more often, which I hope so because they're fun to watch or they're fun to look at. But yeah, she just like a most used and like most successful and stuff. So Wigglytuff was highly used. Was it successful? Different story. But it's the usage was so high. She said it herself, like the higher the usage, like sometimes it skews the win rate because the high, like because there's gonna be a lot of O2 players that use it too, right? But
Right.
Quagsire, no,
Well,
very high usage and most successful as well too. So that Pokemon might be.
I mean, it makes sense because Quagsire is like pretty safe and neutral overall.
Yeah.
I feel like
Unless you run to a guy running a Bomb Snow, because
true, but like you can still Stone Edge
you
there,
can,
right?
you
Like,
can,
Yeah.
you can. It's
um,
it's not fun though, but you can.
right.
And
Like
that guy was
again,
not shielding anything.
right. Like again, there's matchups that's not fun for it, but like some of it's probably like most popular answers in the meta right now are like Medicham and Guzzlord, which like
Yeah.
those are still neutral matchups, right? Like you're just getting
Uh,
out bulk, but
dude,
it's
tell
still
me about
neutral.
how ironic this is. I just saw a tweet from Beals Boy. His original tweet was testing Scizor, and he put his Twitch user, and he quote tweets it just now. Still pretty good. He hits 2,800 with it. Bealsy, come on now. I'm trying to make an argument here, right? You're killing my arguments. No, but I will say
It's that world
what's good
champ
in
difference.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
because anyone else trying to use this right now, good luck. But no, I mean, I think like I also said this in my thread to multiple people. I was like, what's good in GBL doesn't necessarily mean it's like there's things that are super good in GBL. Like Bastion's still very useful in GBL, even though it's just complete garbage in Show 6 in my mind. But it's still very useful, right? And that's going to be a symptom of blind threes and all that stuff. And some people were saying like, oh, we should put more priority in GBL because more people play it, and it's like kind of like a gateway into Show 6 potentially. I kind of don't agree with that. But that's just my take. I obviously care more about Show 6 and the official format. But I think like these days, I feel like a lot of people get into GBL because they see the broadcasts, right? They see Worlds, they see all the stuff. They go on for Twitch drops, like, oh, this is kind of fun. I might want to do it myself. Obviously, some people get into GBL for different reasons. Some people only GBL, even if they know about the Show 6 stuff. So, understandably so. But I feel like if you ruin the meta integrity of your most competitive official formats just for the sake of GBL bounces, I don't think that's great for the long term of the game. I don't know. Like for me, like I want our game to be as big as TCG and VGC. I think there's a lot of barriers to how we get there, especially accessibility. Especially accessibility. That's probably the number one reason. This could be the worst meta in the world, but the game was more accessible. More people probably go to these tournaments still. Like that's my feeling on it. But I don't think a poorly like imbalanced Show 6 meta is great for the long term growth of the game either.
I agree. I think you need to try to like strut that line though, because like I agree that you want like the show 6 meta should probably take priority, but you also don't want the
yeah.
GPL meta to be terrible either because
just Batsy
like
on Marowak Toad School every game. That does not sound like fun either.
because yeah, like people said, it is sort of that gateway, right? Like GBL is way more accessible to people than
100%.
Championship
Yeah.
Series.
Yeah.
Because you can hop in it with pretty much anything and like I think find some degree of success unless they're not built or
Yeah.
baby Pokemon or something.
I just want the game to grow, and I want the game to be fun for people, and that's why I passionately feel the way I do. But that's kind of how it is. Anyway, that's going to do it for the championship series. We have Seville upcoming, and then we have Cape Town.
Those are both this weekend.
Yeah. I think Cape Town's going to be a little bit more indicative. I'm very curious, or sorry, not Cape Town. Seville's going to be more meta indicative. I'm very curious how the Europeans take on this because they like to play more neutral, but
they also like to play more Talonflame.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but like not that much more than NA, right? Like they
No,
might put double the amount of Talonflame players, but like double of 10 is not that much, out of 100+ person tournament. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense though, right? Because Talonflame has a lot more play into a lot of the neutral things, right? Like, like Scizor was just like cooked by it, but you had play into Gastrodon, you had play into, well, I don't know, maybe Gastrodon and Scizor are not the best neutral play examples now that I think about it, but we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. Honestly, I think if Wigglytuff is over even 40% usage in EU, this meta's cooked. That's my thought, right? If EU can get away with not playing 40% or more of Wigglytuff, then I think this meta might not be as
I
bad as I think
think
it is.
I think Wiggly's gonna have decently high usage in EU as well.
I
But
think so too.
so like
Yeah.
I guess my thoughts is I think Wigglytuff is the biggest problematic point in the meta right now and will persist through the rest of this GBL season.
Agreed.
Fingers.
Agreed.
But I also think that some of the rest of the meta around it will potentially continue to shift tournament to tournament.
I think so too.
And again, this is our season with the most tournaments total because
Oh boy.
this
That's
GBL
unfortunate.
because I believe this GBL season has more like TPCI play Pokemon tournament than any of the other seasons,
in
but we
TPC.
also have TPC on top of that.
Almost every TPC tournament outside of PJCS, I think, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
all of them
That's
besides
kind
PJCS.
of crazy.
But like even if you don't count the TPC, just TPCI, I believe
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
more this season than any of the others
Oh,
this
and we
year.
got Cape Town as well. We got San Juan.
I wonder how many people are gonna be at Cape Town.
I don't know. Yeah.
What if it doesn't fire because Steve doesn't go?
Oh my gosh.
I think the Billy Braybird's going again because he went last year. I think he is going. I don't know about anyone
He's
else.
got to redeem himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so unfortunate. That's the meta everyone plays. But I mean, again, I think if they nerf Wigglytuff, they nerf Wigglytuff. It is what it is. I think it might be inevitable at this point because of usage. It has high usage and win rate, 100%, right? And so you have way more of an argument to nerfing Wigglytuff than you had for Scizor. But I'm just saying, my whole point was we didn't have to come to this 3-month season of Wigglytuff dominance if we didn't nerf a lot of the other things, if we didn't make the meta so imbalanced that Talonflame's unbreedable, right? That's the TLDR. But anyway, we talked a million times about this. We have some T topic though. I kind of want to talk about this one because it's an interesting one. This is like one of those times where, hey, regardless if you believe in Scizor getting a nerf or not, we can all unite around this topic. So I'm not even gonna name the name because I'm not trying to steer hate towards this person or not. But it's a TCG player, and they tweet us out. I assume from the Houston venue because they were at Houston, I believe. The tweet says, I don't know if it's been deleted, but the Twitter itself is privatized, so you can't even see it unless you see a screenshot. Says hopefully 2026-2027 season is the one they finally get rid of the ghost stream at regionals and can move those resources over to allow for all rounds of TCG being streamed. I cannot understate how absurd it is to stream 9 out of 14-15 rounds in the flagship game.
So many things wrong.
Well, I have thoughts, but I want to hear you all because I've talked enough this podcast. What do
Kaz, you're first.
Well, I mean, first of all, this is not the flagship game. This also.
There is some merit to it because TCG did come before VGC in the championship series. It used to just be TCG actually.
It
So
doesn't.
he's not wrong as it's the first game.
And from a number standpoint, technically it's bigger.
Yeah,
too,
they have more prize money, but they do
doesn't-
end every Worlds and every championship Sunday with VG.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
no. It doesn't the number, the timeline, the numbers. I don't think are so important as the actual history of the game.
You know what this is a good example of? It's VG is the first child. TCG. Oh no, sorry. VG is the second child, the youngest. TCG is the first child, but the parents like the second child more. And then
Mhm.
Go and Unite are just like adopted kids that like they just
Yeah.
threw in there for the family photo.
Yeah, well, we're the cousins, like, like
Bro, I might be a step cousin at this point.
Wait, and then what's Pokken?
Pokken is like a previous family member that we no longer contact anymore.
yeah,
You know, like they've been like
exactly.
they're the black sheep of the family that like
Yeah,
Oh no.
it's
yeah,
it's the family friend that
yeah,
you're like, how are we even
excommunicated,
related? We're not.
excommunicated. Yeah,
But yeah, no, first of all, like it's just about like the history. Like I just don't claiming like this is supposed to be the focus. It gets you nowhere. You know, like it's just like because ultimately we wouldn't be anywhere without the main series. You know, so you can't. I don't think you can disregard that. Second of all, like you from a practicality standpoint, you can't even like you can't make a stream into for all of that. Like you can't make time have more time. Like like you can't increase the amount of time that a stream can run. You can't increase the amount of like things you can stream at one time. So it's just from a practicality standpoint, it doesn't make any sense either. It's just so like absurdist to think like my game deserves more.
It's so elitist too, like, and
yeah.
that's the thing that drives me crazy is I feel like, especially from the TCG community, and this isn't everyone, but it seems like a good chunk of the TCG community, the vibe I get is they think they're better than a lot of the other pillars in the Pokemon
Yeah.
sphere, which is frustrating. Again, not everyone, but that's just like
Yeah,
the vibe
it
I
could
get.
also be like a vocal minority. Like I don't want to paint such a wide brush to TCG because some of them are super nice, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that
Well,
far. But
I mean the
at least
bullies
there's a
are
vocal
always going to
minority for
be the
sure.
loudest ones. You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
like that's just how the world works. Is like they're always going to be the ones who are like the complainers, the the elitists, and the people that think that they deserve more because of their game and what it does. And it's like no, like
You
the
know what's
point of Pokemon is to bring people together. You
yes, and
know.
like that's the thing that frustrates me too is like I feel like Go is like still looked down on and viewed as like not as good by the other games, whereas like I feel like a lot of people from the Go community appreciate and accept all of the Pokemon pillars,
Mhm.
even though like maybe we don't play it ourselves. It's like cool, they're doing TCG or they're doing VG or they're doing Unite. Like everyone's doing Pokemon, everyone's having fun. Like we don't look down on the other games the same way.
Yeah, I would argue that Go players, I mean, are very participatory in all of the other games, like whether it's a competitive one or not, you know? Like a lot
I
of
see
people are in it for the love of,
yeah,
the
I see Nighttime Clasher getting his TCG grind on all the time.
Yeah, dude, he's trying to be the next like Sage and Bark at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Tristan, I would definitely agree. Like I can feel it like at tournaments sometimes. Something that has happened, like it happened at Merida and it happened at Atlanta, like most notably. But like everyone has like every game has the audience that is there watching the screen, and then there's next to the players playing the game, right? There's so many times where VG or TCG players are just like standing in front of the Go screen because what do they care,
Hmm.
and have had to be audibly told, we are watching this, can you please move, and they treat it like it's some big umbrance. And it's just sort of infuriating because I'm like, this game is supposed to be like for everyone, and it's supposed to be you know a community. Just like let people enjoy what they enjoy.
Right, we all love the same little digital pocket
Yeah,
monsters.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, well, the other funny thing too is like I don't know for sure, but I feel like Go stream viewership is probably fairly similar, if not sometimes better numbers than the TCG stream viewership.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Twitch drops does help a lot for the big events, but like
Mhm.
again, like it's just, I mean, we have less players in the competitive circuit too, right? But like, even no matter if there's like less or more numbers, right? I don't care. Like I mean, we were joking about Pokken earlier. If Pokken's a circuit, I don't care if they have like
Yeah.
freaking 5 viewers or 100 viewers or a million viewers. Like it's just
Yeah,
like it's a
let them have their own space too. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just
I would love for them to be like still included in the circuit more
why would you
regularly.
not want other Pokemon games to thrive? You have plenty of competitors in yours. Right? It's not like we're
Mhm.
taking competitors away, but even if we were, like, if it happens, it happens. Like, like
I mean, they might
it
be
kind
glad
of,
if we took people away because they'd be more likely to get registration slots.
yeah. I mean, but it kind of like reminds me of And I'm not saying this person that tweeted this is one of those people, but I remember when uh TCG Pocket came out, a lot of TCG players were like hating on it big time because I think they were
Mhm.
scared that that was going to like enter their market and dilute the amount of players in their circuits. It's possible, right? But again, like it's just like such a, I don't know, it's just
But
such like a
also like
cowardly
They
fear in
don't
my
have
mind.
they are not owed any ownership
Yeah.
of the competitive
Yeah.
circuit,
right.
of the game itself.
That's your mittens.
Yeah.
I
And
know.
the thing
He's
is
being a
like
goblin.
the
Well, and
thing
the
that
thing with Pocket in particular is like Pocket has and had the chance of bringing more people into the TCG because people
um
like casual people start off with Pocket, and if they like it, they might actually play the physical TCG. Like it's all the same like ecosystem. We all like the same things. Like let's not try to put each other down.
yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting take, and of course, a lot of Go people rallied behind it. But I feel like a lot of TCG players also like. I think it's also the reductionist of the game, of our game as a whole. Like, I'm not expecting TCG players to know how Go works, but like, don't speak on it if you don't know how it works. I mean, you can if you
Yeah.
want. It's like, freedom of speech, whatever. But it's just, it makes you look stupid and be like, oh, it's just a tap 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 game, or whatever. I don't know. I'm preaching to the choir. How many people at TCG play or should listen to this, right? I don't even know. Like, I don't know how to explain to you all, right? But it's just like, I don't know how TCG works exactly either. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're just shuffling a bunch of cardboard and putting it down, right?
Oh
I
my
know
god,
some players,
Paula
some
had the
Go people,
most
huh?
Paula had the most goaded response.
What was it?
So someone posted or tweeted, they're like, "Still has to be the most boring game to watch." Like, brother, what is interesting about watching two people tap their screen really hard?
Yeah.
And Paula said, "TCG has got to be the most boring game to watch. What is interesting about watching two people shuffle their deck really
Yeah,
hard?"
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It's
Which
like,
obviously, like, she's mocking him, right? Like, she's not
yes,
actually
yes,
serious, but like, not that I think so, but like, obviously, like, that's just like that's how stupid it sounds if someone said that about
yeah,
TCG. That's not obviously not how the
exactly.
game goes. Like, come on now, right?
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not going
so
to say
much more to
like,
it.
I'm not going to say Go is necessarily obviously more complex than TCG. Maybe not, right?
Yeah, I
Probably,
don't know.
probably not. Right, like our games are 3 to 4, like 3.5 minutes or something. They're not long games, so there's only so much variance. Like I've talked about wanting to make the game more complex, right, many times, but it's not as simple as they seem, and it's not like. And there's a lot of people that still appreciate and love it for what it is. It's like, oh, it's like if there was like competitive checkers and obviously competitive chess. It's like the people on chess being like, we should just get rid of competitive checkers because like, wow, it's so much easier of a game. No, some people like competitive checkers. They like competitive checkers. Let them play it. Like let them
Yeah,
do their
and like
thing. Like,
TCG might be more complex, but I think there's also something to be said about the fact that it's way easier to like watch say 20 minutes of a Go broadcast and at least somewhat understand what's going on versus like if you don't play the TCG, you could watch an hour of that and
sure,
still have
yeah.
no clue what's
Yeah.
Well, that's
happening.
a benefit
I
of
mean,
things that are easier, right? Just like there's benefits of Pocket being,
Yeah,
simpler.
I mean, I've sat at at regional tournaments, and like the Go stream is over, but I'm still like hanging out with people. We're doing some trades and our game or whatever. And the TCG stream is on, and I can watch it and like appreciate sort of the commentary, but I have no idea what's happening. But that still doesn't change the fact that I'm like, am I not entertained, by sort of what's happening? Like, your game is just as valid as my game, and like we can enjoy the shared aspects.
Yeah.
We don't have to tear each other down in order to succeed.
Honestly, I feel like the C-top is not even that controversial. I think everyone's mostly in agreement. But it was an interesting thing that had a lot of like you know what? I do appreciate that they tweeted this out because when I got eliminated day one, I had to do something to keep myself busy, and I was liking everyone's tweet replies to that tweet.
I don't follow this person, so I can't see any of the juice.
Yeah, I don't either. And I don't really. Again, like I like it's.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah,
he had a
it
public
looks
profile
like,
before this, and then
yeah, it looks like they both deleted the tweet, the original tweet, and then also like made their profile private too. So
look, I'm
may
just gonna
have
say
realized the errors of your ways.
if you're gonna
Yeah, you only
post,
do that when.
look, if you're gonna post something, at least be brave enough to keep it up. You know, if you're gonna post like if people don't like that, I think Scissor shouldn't have nerfed. Look, I ain't going to delete my tweets. We can debate all day long. I welcome debates, right? You could hate me, you could dislike me, you could whatever. But I'm leaving it up there and I'll respond, right? As long as it's like a sensible tweet, you know, I will respond because I stand on what I say, right? Don't backtrack now, you know, like own it, right? But maybe he just realized I can't. Maybe that wasn't appropriate. Who knows? But okay. That being said, we definitely talked a good chunk. So if you're stuck at the airport listening, hey, maybe maybe it was actually the wait at TSA wasn't too bad then. But let's talk about some YouTube comments, and we do have a popping comment from Jen too. So let's. I'll talk about the ones from Tristan first because he is here. I think the attendance numbers are a bit rigged because Caleb always picks recording days / times that he can make. Sounds like Steve and I gotta start doing recordings at 1 a.m. Pacific to even things up. I mean, I'll be available for 1 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, like I won't be.
I won't be.
Caleb's been sleeping on the Sand buff, Great League and Ultra League Forge, and Ultra League Gliscor. Well, I mean, I think the Santu buff is great for Great Fortress for sure. Gliscor, I'm not super convinced, but I haven't played too much. Gliscor is definitely better in Ultra League than Great League, 100%.
Yeah. I was talking about because I think you had like on your Ultra League tier list, you had Fortress and Gliscor both kind of low, based on what I'm
Oh,
hearing about like what people have been saying. I don't play Ultra League myself, but just other people have been playing, so they're both like
so
pretty good.
it's possible. Fortress and Ultra League it's definitely something, right? I've grown to actually, and as someone that plays so much Ultra League for Battle Frontier and all that stuff, it used to be my favorite meta of all time. It has grown to be my least favorite, actually, funny enough. It's just like it's so polarizing in how bulky things are. Like there's some things that aren't that bulky, but like it's like the bulk that things can get is like absurd, almost like little cup absurdity sometimes, right? The matchups don't even feel like they're in the right leagues. Whereas like Master League, like things are bulkier, but things also hit harder, so it feels like kind of a decent balance. You
Yeah,
can't push stack stuff down.
there's so many nukes in Master
Yeah,
League.
yeah. Now that
That's
you know,
the
right?
big
You
that's
don't
the
want
big
to
thing.
bolt shields that early in Master League, generally
Yeah,
speaking.
that's the thing I learned like pretty early on.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, my Kyogre Origin Pulse like almost a one-shotization. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to use your shields properly. But I like it though because you can't fast side pressure stuff down, right? Great Leagues, like not things don't hit nearly as hard charge attack wise, but the fast sacks do a lot. So that kind of like balances out a little bit and things aren't as bulky. So you have a little more fast sack pressure strategy. Ultra is like you have no fast sack pressure strategy. And then even with charge attacks, sometimes it don't do enough. And some Pokemon just don't like just are just stupid, like bulky and hit hard. Like freaking Zapcan from a Belly Bolt Ultra League. That thing's bulky and I'm like, what the heck? It's like one shots a lot of things. I don't know. I mean, there's a chance my Ultra. I feel honestly, out of all of my tier lists, I feel it's actually my order of like the leagues I like the most. I feel the best about my Master League tier list. I think I was like really spot on. Great League, I feel second best about. To be fair, I also made the Great League one before the season even came out, so I was going off some of that was blind, and then Ultra League. Yeah, maybe I could make some
I
adjustments.
mean, Master League's the smallest meta, so if you get that one wrong, like pretty wrong, that's more problematic.
You say that, but take a look at some other Master League tier lists, and you might come back to me and be like, "Wow, what are these people on?" Okay, and you also left a comment saying, "I think the break during summer could be nice for organizers. My understanding of Aegis Slash is that the shield form has a separate fast move charging that always does 1 damage per use, no matter what, even to Shadow Toxicroak. and always gains 6 energy per use. The turn duration matches the turn duration of the blade form's fast attack, but it seems to be a distinct move that's not actually Shadow Cut or Air Slash. Yeah, that is 100% correct after I made my video on Aegis Slash, because I did a little comparison. Shout out to Kaz for being the Aegis Slash user on that end. But it's just like so many top players don't even know how it works. Like, it's crazy. So I assume a lot of people that weren't top players also don't know how it works. And then the break. Okay, here's what the thing with the organizers, though. I feel like it's not really a break for organizers because they're still asked to give out certain things that people attend. That's the part where like doesn't make sense to me. I think you just do a clean slate and nothing hosted.
But is it?
Because they have to host to give out the random stuff, right?
They still have to give stuff out, but
True.
is there not less sort of administrative tasks to like?
You still have to run the tournament the same way.
Point and okay. Well, yeah, and I don't know.
Okay, I will say this though: you probably don't have to enter in like to the database, like what placement people got. Like that's probably true. But at least talking to my local organizers, that takes them like 2 seconds. That doesn't take too long.
Well, I guess I mean that is a good point that I hadn't actually thought about. But I think it is still less hosting in general because it's like if you're doing one tournament a month per game at most, versus like if it was during like CP events, you'd have like cups and challenges. And then like the thing is with like PCG in particular, like having like non-championship point awarding league events is like a very common thing. So like for TCG leagues, like a lot of times they have an event like every single week, and it's just there's like a cup and a challenge that give points, but they have like casual play events on like a regular basis too.
Yeah.
So like they are hosting a lot more for some of that other stuff.
Yeah. Okay, and then Deborah says, "Cast Corner invite noted. I'll make sure to pencil in for 2027 at this rate." You might be.
She's not wrong.
She's not at all wrong.
Yeah. She also says, "Not me being 4 of the 5 photos and still not securing the +1."
R.I.P.
That's
listen. When I sign, like if I sign up for TikTok, then you can be my +1.
Oh yeah, you're guaranteed invite, right?
My guaranteed invite.
I actually like was looking at it a little bit, and it looked like it was like I think 5 people would win for the Japan one, and then like 4 people for I think the Chicago and Copenhagen
those are pretty good odds. Honestly, I might have to submit. I keep forgetting to submit it, but
yeah, the Japan one already passed. I forgot to submit it too.
I mean, realistically, I was gonna go there, but yeah, I don't know like what to submit though.
It doesn't really matter. Like I don't think they're judging it based on the quality of your thing.
You think it's just
like,
random?
Based on like, because I was like just skimming the rules and stuff, but it looks like it's just like they just take anyone who has an eligible submission, and I think it's a random draw.
Yeah, I think they kind of just put your username into a virtual pot and draw it out.
I'll be honest, part of me is also just like I go to enough events, so I don't think I should feel bad, but I feel a little bad even submitting something. I feel like there's other people that maybe have never gone to GoFest before that like I would be happy if they got it over me, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not trying to be altruistic or anything. It's just like a weird feeling I have.
Well,
right? Yeah.
If you win, you can bring one of those people with you.
And be like, yo, someone random on the internet has never been to GoFest. Like, how would I even verify that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing that I did actually see when I was skimming like the actual like rules and stuff is whoever wins, the person going with them has to fly out of the same airport.
So
Steve, you can also experience the TSA lines in the United States now.
you just have to get to the United States in our horrible nightmare.
Yeah.
Then you get to go.
Yeah. Hey,
easy.
Dev's somewhere in like the Pacific Northwest, I believe. So hey, I will meet you out in wherever you're at and fly out from that airport, Dev. No problem. no problem.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I know I said just 5 seconds ago that some other people should be invited, but if you throw an invite my way as a plus one, like I ain't going to decline. Like
I won't say no.
yeah, I'll find a way to get there. I mean, hey, I'm a good time, right? Like I can keep things like if you're ever bored on a flight and we're sitting next to each other, I can just talk about the meta balance for like a couple 6 hours, and then we're in Chicago. Next thing maybe
I
we're
think
in
that's a good way
Europe.
to not get invited. It's like I've already heard this for an hour and a half. I think I'm good.
Oh, you think I have no further thoughts on the meta balance? Oh, just you wait. Dude, I almost missed my flights going back to LA because I was responding to people on my sister tweet. Like, I literally almost missed my flight. I was sitting there fiercely typing and at the wrong gates. And I
Oh
boarded my
my
plane like
god.
2 minutes ago. Hey, it was worth it. It was worth it. Okay. And then a final comment from Bobby and Jen says, here's my well crafted, witty, and relevant comment. Thanks, Jen. Thanks. Much appreciated.
Love you, Jen.
Anyway, we will see how things go for Seville. And again, Wigglytuff, I think it's on his last legs, if I have to guess.
I hope so.
I know a lot of people
Yeah.
hope so. And like again, I'm not like I said it myself, right? I was trying not to use Wigglytuff, but it just looked too good to do it. I worry what the next meta will look like, especially because it's the world's meta. But I worry for it. But maybe it'll be better than I
If
expect.
you nerf Wigglytuff, I think it'll be better by default.
Probably. We'll see.
Fingers crossed for a
We'll
trend
see.
there.
We'll see. But yeah, I hate that though. I hate just fingers crossed every 3 months. Fingers crossed is a better meta. Why can't we just rely on making metas better and better, right? Like, how do we regress so much when the meta's like better than this and then we just go back down, right? Like, I don't know. That's just like, this is the switch up people want, right?
Because I mean, we don't really know what determines the changes they decide to make. What
Agreed.
attacks that they decide to add.
Agreed.
Yeah, like
someone else said this on one of my threads, and they're like, "Yeah, I wish like the devs would just come out and say like why they did what they." I'm like, bro, yes, because that happens for so many other games. The devs literally do like a whole video every update talking about why they do what they do, or they'll tweet it out. I've mentioned this many times for like other games, and like okay, the Axon and Ben interview for the new PP system, very well received, regardless of how the update landed. Right, initially when dropped, and we'll see how it continues to go in the future. But
still don't have it. Still haven't seen it.
But the reception was so
no
good
one
because of
has
the
it.
transparency, right? The transparency of it was so good. I was like, man, imagine if we did this every time. Obviously, I know devs have other things to do, and this might not be like a Niantic desire to even do it. But like, imagine every GBL update you had a video like that. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be so nice? I don't care if they're right or wrong, but at least we hear the rationale.
Yeah, or even just going back to like written dev diaries. Like we got a long one explaining the update as well. So like, is it really that hard? I mean, you have to have some form.
I think it actually is that hard. I'm not even being facetious. Like, they have a lot of red tape, to my knowledge, on that stuff, unfortunately. Which, look, I mean, if it's me, I'm bringing out the biggest scissors and cutting that red tape every time, right? But it's not up to me, right? But I do think that.
Well, and the thing,
I get that there's red tape, but like, at the same time, I also know that as developers, like, you're keeping track of your process, you're keeping track of like the main series and like what's available and all these things. So like, I know that stuff is kind of already in writing in various forms.
Well, so the thing though is like, my understanding is like, not like there's the red tape, but like it also just takes a lot of extra time and work to get something like that to go through, and like people have a lot of other things on their plate. So if they're taking the time to do a dev diary on the update, then they're not spending time working on something else in the game that you would want them to be working on. Like I agree like I agree, in an ideal world I would love to see that 100%. But yeah, it's an opportunity cost, and is it worth it for Niantic Scopely to do? It seems like not because they're not doing it
Yeah.
again. Um,
Yeah.
but
What?
also Kaz was talking about adding new moves. I know she meant like adding to Pokemon, but we need some new moves added to the game, please. Like, it's been so long since we've gotten like any new moves. Like it was like
We have
I was,
Gigaton Camera coming up. What you
I
Mhm.
mean like non-exclusive moves though, like that
Oh.
help more than like one Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like we got Chilling Water, which has only been given to Alola Ninetales and Florges. And
That's
before
true.
that, I think it was like Metal Sound, Psywave, and Sand Attack, which was like 2 years ago or something.
No, I was gonna say Meltdown was already out. They just didn't make it good until recently.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that was the
you're right.
last time they
You're
added a
right, yeah,
new like non-exclusive move, which is
well, I mean,
crazy.
speaking of new, we've had like a new GBL Cup in like a million years either. So, but again, like this is kind of like what I was going to. I feel like we just live in like perpetual like Groundhog's Day where we're just reliving the same thing. We go through every 3 months with like a slightly different meta and a new shift, and then it's the same cups, right? And then it's the same moves, and then we do it again. And I'm just like I'm like 10 years from now. I was like kind of joking, but not really. Like it's just this. I feel like it's the same top players playing it with a few influxes here or there, and people retiring throughout the years. But like I'll be really disappointed if like 5 years, 3 years from now, we haven't doubled our attendance in tournaments. I really will be disappointed because
Mhm.
it's just like things don't feel novel anymore. It was so exciting early on in the championship years. We had our first world champ, our first international stuff like that. Now it's just like no hate on these players, but okay, Elam and Doombug get another grand finals, right? Like nighttime Quagsire accent, another top four, like just another medal up under the collection. Once in a while, we have a crazy upset like a DHC United, right? Or like a Joe Eddie or something like that. But like for the most part, it's like a lot of the same thing. And even if DHC becomes the next Elam, like it'll just be the same. Like I just like for me personally, it feels like there's less meaning behind things when it feels so repetitive. Like obviously it means a lot to the players, right? And it'll be great for them to win another one. But like it's just, I'm at the point where I'm just like, what's the point? At this point, it's
I
just
mean, I do agree to an extent, but I also think some of that repetition is just the name of the game. Like if you look at TCG or VGC, like sure they have a new
true.
TCG set and the
Mhm.
sets rotate out, or VG has a new game comes out, but it's still kind of the same song and dance for the most part. Like some of that is just like your competitive circuit is around long enough. Some of it is gonna feel a little
Well,
repetitive.
I guess and maybe I will feel the same way, right? Years from now, and like I'll be like, oh, dude, I don't know what's on about. I still feel the same way. But I think the thing is, they're selling out every tournament, right? And they have thousands of people attending, and like winning multiple tournaments in a season in that on that level is crazy still to me, right? Like, there's okay, trust me, I've never won no tournament, right? So I'm not acting like it's an easy feat. But like someone like a hard Jeff, Doombug, Elam, Rise, whatever, winning multiple tournaments a season, it's impressive, but it's not the craziest shocker, right? There's like only like a couple people that are capable of it, but because the circuit's so small, it's very possible for them, right? Like if Harjep is winning two tournaments as an example for someone that won two tournaments this season, and all of our tournaments are like 1,000 plus, dude, that is crazy. That's a crazy storyline in my mind, right? Or you win three, right? Like Doombug did a few years ago. That's crazy. Like it is pretty crazy to win two already, but like he being the same like 100 something Latin players in Belo Horizonte and Curitiba, right? Like it's like it is very impressive, but it's just again, that's why I feel like in 3, 4, 5 years from now, if the player base is about the same size, I, I don't know. I mean, maybe other people feel differently, but I feel like a lot of people feel like it's not as impressive as it used to be. It's not as novel at least at a minimum, right? I think it would be very impressive if Hard Jeff does it 3, 4, 5 years from now, and there's 1,500 players in a tournament in both of them. That's really impressive, right?
Yeah. Also, Swiss waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be yeah, yeah. I think that would be
They teased it for this season, but
nice.
we haven't gotten it yet. So I
They
don't
teased
know.
it for the future. They didn't tease it necessarily for
Now,
this season.
look, speaking of
that
teasers,
wording was so vague. Like
this PvP system rework has been teased for a while too now. We had a whole interlude season to launch this, and look,
this whole game exists on teasers.
Yeah, that's true.
At this point,
Yeah, didn't they tease like Mewtwo for the longest time? But anyway, I know there's inner workings, and I don't want them releasing an update that's like completely not functioning. So I know people are working probably hard behind the scenes, so I don't want to harp too much on that. But that was an episode.
so long. And we started recording like later than we normally do. Mittens is crying for dinner. I don't know if you could hear him at all, but he's just walking around like.
Sorry, man.
Is he crying for dinner? Or does he just have thoughts about Wigglytuff?
No, well, I'm pretty sure I can hear the words. My food bowl is very empty, and no, I'm not kidding. It's actually empty.
It's still half full. He can just see the bottom.
No, there's no food in this bowl.
Anyway,
this is the time where he normally gets fed, so that's how I know.
Anyway, catch us next week. We'll see if Steve went to either South Africa or Spain, or neither. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just showing neither.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
With stuff, but hey, we record at 1 a.m. Pacific time next time. I feel like for the most part I can make most times too, right? Like I cannot film in Houston. There's just no way, right? But I feel like I can make most times work outside of my standard GBO for my patrons time segment. So, but yeah, I do get that. I attend a lot because the schedule does kind of revolve around me. So, but we'll see if Steve can make it happen for the next one. Anyway, thanks all for tuning in. Feel free to drop your own comments down below. If you all disagree with me vehemently, feel free to drop it down below. Happy to read those comments next episode, and see how things go. Best of luck to everyone going to Seville and Cape Town. Best of luck to you too, Steve.
Wherever you're competing.
Best of luck. And we'll catch you all next one. Peace.